Good evening, Speed Gaming! We are bringing you yet more Final Fantasy Randomizer on this glorious Friday night. I am Darkmoon. I am joined in the commentary booth by Hyro. Hyro, how's it going?
Good evening, Darkmoon. We have a wonderful set of races set up here this evening. We have a 2-1 matchup between LordFizzlebeef and ArsonHorse, and an 0-3 matchup between MeleeWizard and captainnerd, trying to keep their hopes for the last chance qualifier in play. So we'll have to see how this works out for them this evening.
It is interesting that you note the 0-3 going on between those two players, because if you will note in their parties, neither of them have taken a fighter. They're already starting off with a big gamble at the start of this match.
Yes, they are definitely looking to make a change to their party compositions to try to change their luck in the seeds that they've had so far. We are getting the release of our runners, and they should be running any second now.
Yeah, so for everyone that is interested in this right now, we are going to be running the same seed for all four players. The top two players are playing against each other. The bottom two players are playing against each other. This is not an all-for-one, four-player matchup. It's just you're going to see the same seeds going on for both the top and the bottom, just so that we can, keep track of what's going on here. And it looks like the race should be starting any second now. We've got the time countdown going on in Hex Chat. We're just waiting for the stream to catch up with us here. So, Hyro, what are your thoughts on the matches coming up, the players that we got going on? What do you like about this?
Oh, this should be an especially good one to watch. ArsonHorse and FizzleBeef are longtime runners. ArsonHorse, the original Super Duckling, who came through the new player initiatives that we have to teach people the randomizer and work with them on different parts of the game. We also have FizzleBeef, who...
I want to step in for just a second. You can keep going after that. We've got Quad X and Fast at Black Magic, and we have Fade at White Magic. But Fade is blocked to the Red Mage. It's only going to be available to the Red Wizards right now.
Ah, the slot 4 Fade. That hurts to see it there and not be able to get it right away.
So you were saying, good sir?
Oh, just some phenomenal matchups here. I look forward... captainnerd is a very new Duckling, one of the many people we've had come into the community recently, looking to improve, and actually has been showing some strong improvement over the last 2 weeks. The routing has shown major improvement. I am a little concerned about this party composition, though. I don't know what the thought is here, but we'll have to see how it works for him.
I think the thought is, from what I've seen of previous captainnerd matches, he's really trying to change things up. If I'm not mistaken, he often will spend time really searching around for the power gauntlet, if I'm remembering him correctly, and I think he's just trying to make a party where he doesn't have to stress over that as much, and maybe just try something completely different.
Yes, we have MeleeWizard taking an early grind for a couple of levels here. Looks like he's decided that he wants a couple of levels before heading for that Temple of Fiends. captainnerd Quad X's down Garland, has the princess saved, and our king gives us a ship. Now we have the princess and a tail. Wow, an early tail this seed, so promotion is right there in front of us.
Well, that ship opens up a whole lot of possibilities, and for me, would change my routing options immediately. While I know that people are going to be like, do I go to Matoya? Do I go to Provoca? Where should I go from here? Also bear in mind now that with that ship available, you're going to have to loop Melman, whatever that town may be, because we have Telnship on. You want to loop that in and get that taken care of as well, because there's going to be spells there from whatever town is at that place. There's all sorts of options available now just because of the ship being available to you. And remember, this is extended open progression, so we've got extra docks everywhere, whole new paths open everywhere. That ship gives you all kinds of possibilities, and within like the first 2 minutes, the entire world is blown straight open for them.
Yes, that ship with our extended open progression flags not only unlocks Melmond, it also unlocks Crescent Lake, and in this particular instance, with the additional docks added, unlocks the Vanilla Unrack location. So we now have not 2, but 5 new towns available to us the instant we have that ship.
It's a lot of spells to go check and a lot of things that you can just immediately do. For my money, it's almost worth at least looping in Melman. Onrack may be a little out of the way depending upon how you know the map and where you're comfortable sailing, but it's never hurts to go and try and get as many of those early town checks as you can out of the way, especially when as in this particular instance, you're hurting for any good sweeper magic you can use to take out the packs.
Yes, I think you're definitely making a play searching for either Elfland or Provoca.
Absolutely.
And you're also going to be, the money stick, the power staff is in the dwarf's cave. So we have an instant saleable item right there ready for our runners to have the gold to afford those spells.
It really is. It's the staff that doesn't do much for you, but it's worth so much in the shops normally, and you're just like, ooh, look at this! Instant gratification in the shops so I can just go buy myself the spells I need. I'm seeing at level 3 we have Fire 3 and Warp, and everyone's favorite spell, Bane, the Chaos Killer. I didn't catch what was in the white magic shop, but I'm sure,
I don't think Fizzle has checked the white magic shops. He was bum rushing the black magic.
I saw
searching for it specifically.
Two in black. I didn't. Fizzle's going so fast; it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. 20k pro rings. That hurts.
That does. And he's like, "Nope, I'm good," and immediately clicks out and resets his game and saves all that travel time he'd have to do otherwise. That's, as we like to say here in the community, a veteran move.
I am surprised. He hadn't checked Dwarf Cave yet, so he was not as flush with funding as the other people may be getting here. Yeah.
That black magic level 3 shop is just stacked there with great spells. White magic, meanwhile, exits.
Wow.
That was about the best thing I saw there. They're decent spells, but exit's the keeper.
Yep, warp and exit at level 3 for the red mages, so they are going to be able to fly in and out of dungeons very quickly. That's going to be a huge find for our runners.
Now, I don't know how you would do it. I would probably pick up exit on one of my red mages in that particular party composition and do warp on the other, so I have the variety, but I don't waste too many of the spell slots on each of them, since you only get 3 spells per level. And with both of them being there, you want the variety, but you don't necessarily want it on each mage separately.
Actually, if I had the money, I wouldn't mind having both with that set of level 3 magics, because my third spell could be Fire 3 on both mages, and I would be fine as far as sweepers went for the early game. Places like Marsh Cave, Ordeals, and Ice Cave. The Fire 3 is plenty of spell power to get through there.
Fire 3 is a very nice spell. I mean, you never complain about seeing any of the level 3 elemental magics at this point, because they're all very strong.
Oh, wow. An Invis 2 in the level 2 white magic in Provoca. So we have a phenomenal early spell list here.
It is. And the fact that the level 2 spells are available to their fighters when they class change, if they took fighters, and it's available to their red mages as well. Level 2 is a great spell slot to have. You're going to get a ton of charges of it. And having Invis 2 for the end game is priceless.
And level 4, we get very important information. Life is in slot 3, so the red mages can learn life at slot 4 or at level 4 magic.
It is unfortunately beyond the capability of the fighter, because the fighter isn't going to learn anything above level 3. But with everyone seemingly taking a couple red mages, except for LordFizzlebeef, I don't think having it limited to the red mage is really going to be a complaint for most people.
And Bicky hands over the rod. Apparently he was beating his fellow pirates over the head with it. And there the herb is. Wow. The herb for 5,500 gold. Apparently somebody's getting rich off the chronic.
It's Colorado prices, if I'm not mistaken. That's fairly cheap for a shop item.
I'll have to take your word on that.
Well, I'm in the Midwest. I don't know what Colorado prices are like.
All right.
Looks like we got some armor and weapon shops going on here. Decent weapons for the early game. I wouldn't say it's anything too worth checking out. And it's a decision that has to be made since Captain Nerd raised it for us. Do you buy weapons early, or do you just anticipate that you're going to find something that you can use? Because there are plenty of swords scattered throughout the game, and with the way that equipment is mixed up, you are more than likely within the first couple dungeons going to find yourself an ice sword or a flame sword or something along those lines, and the question is whether or not it's worth spending the time buying swords when you're just going to be finding them later.
And Captain Nerd is burning through the money from that power stick. He sold it off immediately for the 7,500 gold it brought and is loading up on the black magic.
Well, he saw the Chaos Killer and he's like, I want this and I want it now. And I can't argue with him on the logic. Level 3 spells are decently cheap, and there's that whole shop is just loaded there with great magic.
All right, and MeleeWizard has found us Crescent Lake, so we're going to see some old men running in circles randomly. What is going on with that, Dark Moon?
Well, they're doing their aerobics there. What if you played this game originally? You'll know that there's a circle of sages that hang out. Oh, that's Cure 4 at the level 6 magic shop. I didn't catch the slot for it, though. I don't know whether that's going to be learnable. Anyway, originally, the Circle of Sages here, they all just stood in place. However, we've discovered that we can let them roam free, and so we have a batch of confused old men doing aerobics with their slab, apparently, out in the back of Crescent Lake. It's nice to let them wander around for a bit, get some exercise, do their calisthenics. They were standing in place for so long, their muscles obviously tensed up.
And we did get some very important information there. At Black Magic level 6, learnable by the Red Wizard after class change, was Nuke.
That is a lovely spell. At level 6, you're not going to get as many charges of it as you probably wanted. And, I mean, for those people who have, since everyone has a thief, the sad fact is that, you know, that spell is beyond the capability of the thieves, and you always like seeing Nuke on a ninja when you can get them upgraded.
Oh, we have the canoe from the prince. We gave him some herb to cure his ills, and he gave us a canoe for our troubles.
He's gonna sit there and get baked. He doesn't want to do exercise. He's gonna let you take the canoe off his hands for cheap. Oh, looks like Sayhags down in Captain Nerd's side, they have trance. Get out your glow sticks and your mixtapes, because that is a trance party right there.
Yes, we're definitely dancing on the high seas, it appears.
As a tiny fairy pointed out, with the canoe and the ship, we have access to Castle Ordeals at this point, because of the river system that's right there, right in front. As with the Fire 3 that we have as well, Castle Ordeals doesn't seem like such a bad play anymore.
Yeah, definitely not. The biggest threat in Castle Ordeals at that point would most likely be Nightmares if they happen to roll high hits and unrunnable, because Nightmares are one thing that is not weak to fire in Castle Ordeals.
Very true. However, having that warp spell there for Ordeals makes that a much more navigable dungeon. Now, was I mistaken? Did I just see Melmond over at Crescent Lake? I'm not here in Hyro. We're gonna go with yes right now until he comes back. Oh, that was Onrak. Thank you, Shadow Walker. I appreciate the update. It was an in-out maneuver, and I was trying to remember what I saw there. So, but we are still exploring the high seas. We got FizzleBeef taking on some Sayhags Zap. Hopefully, not getting tranced there. As the players all go around and start lapping each other, FizzleBeef does a longing dive past Zardia Islands there, hoping that he can get an airship soon to land. While ArsonHorse is off at Provoca, checking out Vic. You back with us, Hyro?
Yeah, looks like FizzleBeef was doing his drive-by to wave the tail at Bahamut as he went by. Doesn't look like he was too successful.
Take it off!
Oh, Onrak is Gaia. All
I mean,
right.
it's nice to know where you can turn in that bottle when you finally get it, but there's not a lot there for you right now. Especially not at level 5.
Yeah, at level 5, though, Fizzle will have 1 charge of warp on his Black Mage, so we could see an attempted dive into the Waterfall.
I mean, it's risky. At level 5, a lot of stuff is basically going to wipe your party if they get initiative. On the flip side, it's good levels if you can get it, and there is a key item in there, so you're going to need to come here eventually. I don't hate the play of trying it once or twice. It just depends on how many times you decide to take this dive before you move on, if it doesn't work out.
Yes, this could be a play that really sets him ahead if we find something here that leads to major progression, or it could set him behind if he bangs his head against something like these mud goals for a while.
I mean, that's the benefit of having the Thief. As long as you don't get ambushed by whatever's in here and they have some deadly spell, the Thief usually can get you out of a scrape, although...
Oh my.
Yeah,
I did not realize, Dark Moon, FizzleBeef, when he reset out of Elfland, he does not have Fire 3 or Warp. This is an attempt at a straight dive.
Oh. You think he forgot to save?
I don't know. I would guess it was intentional when he reset out and didn't go back, but this is going to be dangerous. Very dangerous.
It certainly makes it an even more risky play. While he's going down there exploring, gonna go check out the robot in just a couple, hopefully, ArsonHorse is doing his run through the Confused Old Men, gonna get his slab. Meanwhile, Captain Nerd is over at Provoca, picking up the item from Decay. And MeleeWizard is sailing back to Corneria to do a quick restock.
Now, with that rod, do you think we're going to have one of our runners decide to make that ever-tantalizing Earth play we saw work out so well for numerous runners in Week 3?
I mean, I don't hate the play. I think if I was in MeleeWizard or Captain Nerd's position, that gamble would sound really strong to me at this point. You gotta think they're 0-3 right now. They're desperately clutching on to try and make it into one of the play-in races to see if they can continue their tournament life here. Any gamble you can make at this point that it's gonna pay out, you want to take. And let's be honest, with how spread out Earth is normally, going there this early, even if it's level appropriate, still feels like a gamble.
FizzleBeef getting some very good nuke luck there. All the mummies are down and we're left with one cockatrice.
And so far it doesn't seem like the nasty birds really have anything to worry about. Sometimes the cockatrice is in perilous roll with all kinds of nasty spells, and it's awful.
Oh my! It's the Waterfall dive for the win! It's the floater!
That is absolutely lovely. Nothing to complain about there. That's basically the one item you desperately hope you're gonna find at this point in the game. Because if you're gonna make this gamble dive here in the Waterfall, you want it to pay off big.
That is going to be doubly true for FizzleBeef, as we know that Melmond and Lefane are the two airship-locked towns, and we already have the slab.
Which is great. He's going to be able to take care of those next and just burn through all that key item return there. Meanwhile, while he's going through the waterfall trying to get back out, quaking some nightmares, MeleeWizard has taken a dive into available at these chests.
Alright,
unfortunately, it looks like Captain Nerd is once again stuck with the DJ Sahag party over in the bottom right corner.
Oh my! FizzleBeef is running out of magic charges and he's in an unrunnable nightmare fight. This could be problematic.
And that Brack didn't go off. There goes the Thief, and
he's out of magic! He resets out! But he goes diving back in immediately, knowing the floater's here. We'll have to see what magic conservation he can pull off. But those unrunnable nightmares are going to be a nightmare for FizzleBeef here tonight.
Yeah, it seems like they're prevalent enough in the encounter table that you're going to have to take each and every one of them out, and you're going to see a lot of them. That's the kind of encounter where maybe I do a second dive, and if they keep showing up, I sit there going, I know where the floater is, at least I have it taken care of. Let's go get a few quick levels at something a little lower, and then immediately come back to get that floater. Knowing where it is, that takes a lot of relief off of your mind.
MeleeWizard taking a beating in Marsh Cave. Those bones appear to have stun touch.
So that's two different enemies here with a prevalence for stunning. We got the Sahags with the Trance Party, and the Bones with stun touch. That's a lot of nastiness at the early part of the game.
Captain Nerd following right behind FizzleBeef and ArsonHorse and headed for Onrak.
Crabcake's commenting in the chat that they're surprised that mummies don't resist Quake. As far as I know, for the most part, Quake is great against the undead. Quake and Time Magic, which is Zap. Those are the insta-kills you want to use against the undead from everything I've been told. So it's kind of nice in that respect, since you can't do Quad X or some of the other really great insta-kills against mummies and so forth.
Yep, I always assumed that if Lich would die to Quake, so would all the rest of the undead. All right, Captain Nerd has made it to Onrak, turned around, and started sailing the seas again. I think he might be a little bit lost.
He does look that way. He's getting some map strats going out. Everyone take a shot. But that is useful to note, is the fact that when you're on the map in-game, any of the special docks that have been added in for the game are going to show up on that map, because the ROM automatically adjusts itself based on where the docks are. It's just somehow the way the game was programmed originally, and it's a convenience that's really nice when you're getting used to extended open progression and trying to learn where everything is at. Just one of those nice features that was unintended by the randomizer community, and it just worked out.
Always good when our devs can have something work out in their favor. They work really hard at making this game as good as it is, and anything that makes their life easier, I'm all for.
Delightful, happy accidents. So we got FizzleBeef finally making it back into the Waterfall, the room with the robot, trying to get his floater a second time. It's those nightmares. Those nightmares are, as you stated, a nightmare.
Yes, MeleeWizard has found that the Marsh Cave appears to not be required. All we got out of there was our incentivized ribbon.
Well, Hyro, I can see why that trance party is so nasty. Not only do they have trance, it appears they also have Blizzard.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so they lock you up, and then they freeze you. It's serving up a frosty cold one there at DJ Sayhack Party. That is just nasty.
Well, hopefully everyone has sat back this Friday evening popping a cold one to enjoy these Final Fantasy randomizer races we have going on. We have more action later tonight at 11:30 Eastern Time. We have the master of the black belt, Gregley Puff, going up against Mama Duck herself, Moist Mogwai. We then have a Midnight Madness special. The undefeateds are duking it out for the heavyweight championship of the world. It is Edge and Minochi.
Don't forget, after that, at 2 a.m., we have what we're calling another special, late midnight special right there with Czar and Lord Synth. 2 a.m., technically on a Saturday. That's going to be going on late tonight. So if you're awake, keep hanging out with Speed Gaming. SG Prime is going to be hosting that one as well. Now, it should be noted we have ArsonHorse here in Castle Ordeals, continuing his exploration. I think he may have had to reset once, because I was seeing from the chat they were wondering whether he made it out or not. But this is one of those castles where if you have to reset, it's not a big deal. You're just memorizing the teleporters and trying to make it through as efficiently as you can. So a reset here or there never feels like it's much of a blocker here in Castle Ordeals.
All right, and ArsonHorse made it out of Waterfall and started diving Ordeals. FizzleBeef right behind has made it out of Waterfall. We have a successful dive, and both of our 2-in-1 runners on the top half of your screens have their floater.
It's fantastic. Yeah, Arson snuck in there at the back, grabbed his floater, and then immediately went on to Ordeals. So it's really slick on both counts.
Yeah, I really love that routing because the walk to Ordeals is the one walk that is significantly shorter with ship and canoe versus your airship landing location far to the east of the Ordeals castle. So I love that routing on the way back.
We're getting some questions about whether or not Orson actually made it out with the floater. We're going to double check his inventory next time he opens it, as long as he doesn't move too fast. Because there is some confusion about whether or not he actually has the floater. The trackers didn't write it down.
I thought he got in and warped out, but maybe he did take a wipe there.
He may have seen those nightmares and been like, nah man, I'll come back later.
That is entirely possible.
It's the move I would have made. Now, obviously, I'm not as good as FizzleBeef and ArsonHorse, but seeing an encounter like that that's forced with low levels, it's just, it's iffy. Definitely iffy.
And there FizzleBeef finds some EXP, but doesn't like how hard they're hitting him, so he runs away, throws his rock on the desert floor, and lifts the airship out.
Yeah, at one point we all considered those centipede EXPs, as we like to call them. I call them that so much I can't even remember the real name anymore. The peds. We used to love killing those because of how rich they are in experience, but it does feel like in this tournament especially, they fight back every time now. It's very rare you get a ped encounter where you actually want to take them on.
All right, it looks like ArsonHorse did not make it out. He found out what was in there, and he's turned around and is headed through Marsh Cave.
It looks as though we lost Captain Nerdstream about 40 seconds ago. I'm hoping that's just a lockup. Yeah, it looks like in the IRC chat he quit out, which means that his connection probably dropped. Hopefully he's still running in the background, and as soon as his internet is back, we'll get him back and up and running again. So, right now all we have across the bomb is MeleeWizard, but we'll hope that Captain Nerd is able to keep up with this.
Yep, once in a while your internet just doesn't agree with what you're doing, so we'll work to get Captain Nerd back in as soon as we can.
Yeah. Most of us are used to having these drops at this point. It's part of the reason why we usually all record in the background to make sure we have our streams just in case. Because even if your internet dies, you can still technically win a match just so long as you can post the evidence afterwards. We're a very forgiving community in that respect. So ArsonHorse is making the Marsh play while LordFizzlebeef is going and clearing through the Cardia Islands he so lovingly looked at earlier. He has that tail, he's going to wave it past at some point.
Yes, and there's a big money find, over 11,000 in a single chest, so that's going to help him. Oh, and 11,000 in a second chest. So 20,000 plus in this one Cardia Isle. He'll be able to afford all the spells he needs. But there's a Mazmune in the north side of Marsh. ArsonHorse hits the Mazmune lottery.
So MeleeWizard should have that as well in his inventory because he was there earlier. I would assume he's rocking that, and if not, then maybe Marsh was just too difficult to make it out of.
Well, he doesn't have it equipped on his black belt, so I'm not sure Melee got out with it.
I was gonna say, and then suddenly he didn't have a black belt, so look at that. The black belt is a great character once you get them up in levels. It's definitely a gamble having one wandering through some of these tough dungeons here with as early a level as they're at, because first 10, 15 levels for the black belt, they're pretty squishy. Fizzle's going up and talking to Lord Bahamut, gonna get his whole pajama party upgraded. Actually, it looks like he already has, so there we go. So now his thief is now a ninja. He's gonna be able to equip some of the good items and armor that he found, and learn some spells when he decides to take it through, and looks like we've got a wizard staff over at the Zardia Islands, as we like to call them. That's going to be great for a carry fight, because you can use that to confuse her and force her to hit herself.
Yes, with that early airship and early promotion, that is going to let Fizzlebeef's Knight and Ninja build the spell charges up the instant they hit level 15, so that is massive.
And with the pool of magic or pool of money that he has at this point, there's no harm, I think, in just picking up your spells immediately when you see one of the towns pop up. Pick up your spells, when you get the charges, you're already ready to start using them, and then there's like no harm, no foul, everything's good to go at that point.
Well, and remember, Fade was Red Wizard locked and Knight locked, so he's going to have Fade on 2 characters eventually. That's going to be huge for his level 1 clearing ability.
Yeah, that's a great sweeper. Really only beat by Nuke in power, but you never complain having Fade at level 1. Especially when Nuke is at level 6, as we saw.
Alright, looks like ArsonHorse is down to 2 party members because something is stoning the world today.
And it doesn't look like he picked up soft potions. That, or he's just going to 2-man strat it.
Well, a lot of the time, the softs roll pretty expensive for an initial Conaria play, so that could be a major problem.
And he doesn't have the 20 grand from the Zardia Islands yet. Hopefully he's able to at least get down there and see what the item is at, and if he doesn't want to have to do this walk again, pray it's something like the Ruby or something else like that. And it does look as though we have Captain Nerd back. I think he's trying to make sure he's in the race in the chat, and then he'll be up and running again with his boat.
Yep.
Looks like, yeah, Fast was level 1. I'm pretty sure we mentioned that earlier, but it never hurts. Fast and Fade are some great spells to have at level 1.
Ooh, the Wizards have Glance, and there's a wipe for ArsonHorse. Wow, ArsonHorse having no luck this seed. Found the Unrunnable Nightmares, got out of there. Found the tear.
Yeah,
this has just been brutal for Arson.
But that's kind of what you expect from the Waterfall and from Marsh Cave. These are places that are hard to get through, and they're part of the reason why most of us don't like hitting them very often. And it looks like for over on LordFizzlebeef's side, we have a PowerPoint slideshow going on. His 10 frames per second that he was running at before, as the chat pointed out, is down to a measly 1. He's checking Sarda, but unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna. Oh, hey, never mind. There it is.
Sarda has an explosive personality this evening.
He likes to play with fireworks when no one's around in his cave, setting off like bottle rockets and so forth, just to entertain himself.
Well, that's just so he can make the Titan angry over in the Titan's tunnel nearby.
Usually I have the ruby that I won't let you eat, so we got lazy dwarfs as the TNT leads to the adamant.
Wow, you'd think the dwarfs would be nicer to one another instead of hoarding the precious metal that is adamant.
Honestly, I think it's like the Hatfields and McCoys as the adamant turns into the Oxiel. You've got your forgers, and you've got your explosive experts, and the two of them have been in like a 1,000-year-long feud. It's probably the same two guys, because dwarves live forever. One of them borrowed the other one's axe without asking, and then suddenly it's just been this unending anger stream between the two of them. One of them gets the TNT, doesn't share it with the other one finally gets the adamant. It's a back and forth. You know how that goes.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. Fizzlebeef diving Ice Cave, or at least what we can see of Ice Cave. He's going to get the bad news about the wizards and glance early on here. The Fade should be able to wipe them out, though, now that he's managed to promote.
But he certainly has the money to have bought some soft potions, so hopefully he did. And it looks like, yeah, he's got at least a couple in his inventory. That'll help him out some.
Yes, that is very good to have, because anytime you find those are going to put a stop to your dives quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's especially with these early parties that don't have the strong MDef, you hate seeing a skill like that used against you. And it looks like at some point MeleeWizard picked up the black shirt. I'm going to assume that came from...
That came from Marsh Cave in the bottom floor with the incentive chest. So
what
yes.
was the incentive chest there? Oh, it was a ribbon.
That was the ribbon. That was the one that is not going to be required unless they decide they desperately need the Mosmune or the Wizard, or the ribbon, because as we found, the Mosmune was in North Marsh, and the ribbon was the incentive in Southern Marsh.
Marsh had a lot of good treasure in it, and you never hate seeing the Mosmune, and you never hate seeing the ribbon. Now, obviously, this early in the game, you're really hoping you're going to get all your key items out of the way so you can get to go as fast as possible. But you never complain about seeing a ribbon whenever you get it, because that ribbon is a lifesaver.
Looks like Fizzle is not going to use the warp trick, or at least he's not going to use it to do all 3 chests simultaneously. He may be looking for a... Oh my!
He may not have the charges.
Death Touch?
Nope, he does have the charges. And he gets the loot.
Oh my, that Red Wizard took 1 shot and dropped like a rock.
That was rough. Although, does queue him up nicely for a quick little eye grind while he's here. Hopefully he has enough warp charges to get out with that Black Mage when he's done. Because
yeah, that's the
doing this and then having to like fight your way out with glance wizards.
Yeah, that is the dangerous part here, because I don't think he's high enough level. No, he was only level 7. He does not have the warp charges to get out of here.
That was my concern.
He might be able to get up a floor or 2, but that's going to be it.
Yeah, I knew he had a couple at least, but he's going to have to figure out when he wants to use those charges, especially since he's already burned 1, trying just getting back up through this hole here.
Yeah, he's going to get some levels, so he may be hoping he can just walk it back out with the Knight here.
He's probably trying to boost his MDef on his levels enough that he doesn't have to stress so much about it.
Yep. That looks like the play, but Brack is not being cooperative. The eye resists. And ArsonHorse re-diving ordeals now with a couple of extra levels, it looks like. While MeleeWizard with a ribbon and now a pro ring find in ordeals gives himself a little more protection from those instant death spells and heads on through the rest of ordeals as Captain Nerd finds the EXPs for a little more grinding on his side.
Hopefully he has better luck with them than some of the players that have found them so far. But considering his bad luck with the Sahags, anything has to be better right now.
Captain Nerd finds out that the Peds rolled fairly low. They are quadexable.
Oh, so the key at ordeals So we have the key at
Alright.
ordeals, which opens up a whole lot of extra treasure chests for them to start exploring.
Yes, the question is, will they make the play from ordeals back to Waterfall, since we know it holds that floater? Ooh.
Well, a big question for MeleeWizard and ArsonHorse is they've already gone through Marsh Cave. With that key, do you even bother thinking about going back to the key lock chests there? Because that's an even bigger gamble for you at that point. You've already done the dive once. Do you really want to double dip?
Oh, key-locked Marsh I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole as these runners until the seed absolutely forced me there.
I was gonna say, I don't think you're a big fan of Marsh Cave in general, are you?
I don't mind Marsh Cave, but if I've already been there once, there's no way I'm rediving it for 3 chests. They're spread out along the bottom side of that floor, and they are 3 floors in to even get there. There's just no way you can make that play a viable play speed-wise.
Chad is asking if we have found any of the loose items yet. I do not believe we have. Looking at the list of stuff the tracker has put together right now, we have found the shop item, which was the herb and whatever Proka ended up. But everything else we found is the key item location, so that explains, for instance, why FizzleBeef is doing a long dive through Ice Cave. We're still
Dark, we have an X-Cal sighting!
Ooh.
X-Cal is in the bottom of the ice cave, so somebody went down there and buried the sword in those frozen stone blocks.
I'm sure it was the TNT dwarf just feeling bitter towards the adamant dwarf during their years-long feud.
Well,
you want to make the sword? I'm gonna hide it from you.
He found a heck of a place to toss it then, because he made his way clear over to the ice cave and dumped it in there. I know some people believe it belongs in Gurgu Volcano, but that dwarf decided the ice cave was good enough.
I was gonna say that there are plenty of people that think throwing the Vorpal sword in the lava is the most important thing. The dwarf definitely one-upped that one right there. Ooh, looks like FizzleBeef had his knight get lanced there and turned to stone. Hopefully he's able to get through this and soft hit right there so he can bring it back and have another party member again.
Yes, the Zeus gauntlet comes through.
It's a great item against the wizards. He's in a precarious position, but he's making it work right now. Oh, it's because the wizards are unrunnable. That's lovely. Thanks, game.
Oof. Unrunnable wizards with that skill. That is not going to be an enjoyable day at the office.
And it seems like they show up a lot, too, in this dungeon. We've seen plenty of them. That's rough.
With the X-Cal, however, that fighter is burning through them one at a time pretty easily there, so it's not as threatening as it could have been before the find of that X-Cal.
And now that we have someone doing a nice long dive through ordeals that I can watch without it being stuttery, we have a mage staff, and it looked like flame armor?
Nope, flame sword.
Thank you! I saw the flame. Out in ordeals right there. Unfortunately, it looks like he tried to warp out, which, with the way ordeals is set up, you can't actually easily warp out of ordeals. You need the exit spell for that.
Yeah. And he's got 2 red mages, but did he pick up the exit spell?
He did. He has a charge. I'm not entirely certain. Unless he wants to go fight the zombie D's after this because he's still stuck here. I'm not certain why else he'd stick around at this point.
Well, he found out... Oh, he forgot he orphaned a chest and he had to go back for it. He wanted to make sure.
I mean, again, we're worried about that one, those 2 loose items that can be floating anywhere, and those are pretty much the only things we're looking for at this point. I know one of them is the cube. Cube is one of the ones we need, and is it Chime is the other that we're looking for? Look at the list, I'm not seeing Chime on there. It may be full access to air at this point that we're digging.
I don't think we've seen what the slab turns into with the Lupa Lupa people yet, so we may have to wait for that.
Yeah, because we also have the crystal that's still floating out there that we haven't seen, and the ruby. So there's plenty out there.
We have several troll items available. We'll just have to see where it comes up at. The crystal could lead to the ruby and could lead us on a true wild goose chase there.
But I have seen at least one seed in this competition so far where the treasure was actually Titan's Trove locked specifically in his 4 chests.
And
the key item there was required to finish the game.
All right,
so
we have confirmation. Gaia is Lefane, so the original Lefane we know will be Melmund and will hold Dr. Oon to teach us the language of Lupa Lupa.
You gotta take a long walk, and then you can sit in front of him while he gives you a decently long lecture about the Luthanian language, and then sells you his audiobooks. Learn Luthanium in 3 lessons or less.
I'll wait for the Rosetta Stone, thanks.
He has a trademark on the language, full copyright, you can't steal it. Aegis Shield in the Dwarf Treasury and a Pro Cape, those are lovely to see. Unfortunately, Aegis doesn't help MeleeWizard, but it's some money that he can earn by selling it. And there was way more money in the Dwarven Treasury. Yeah,
money is not going to be a problem, but that Aegis Shield is going to go to waste with his particular party composition.
Sadly.
So that is going to hurt.
It doesn't help him. When the other players make it over there, presuming they do, though, they're going to love seeing that Aegis Shield, at least on the top half. Captain Nerd with his 2 red mages isn't going to get much better use out of it either.
Yep. We are definitely going to see some unusual things this evening between all of our party compositions. We do have Captain Nerd running with a Thief, 2 red mages, and a black mage, so the Thief is going to be his main damage dealer, it appears. And MeleeWizard has pulled out the black belt strats. He's decided that it's time to punch his way through a seed this evening.
Yeah, Captain Nerd is going to do really well with the black magic once he gets his Thief upgraded and his red mages turned into red wizards. He's going to have himself a very lovely black magic party. And you know, there ain't no party like a black magic party.
Now FizzleBeef looking to find out where he's going to have to look for items, and it's the cube. So it appears that we will have a loose item that either is the chime or leads to the chime. So we know we will not have to dive Sky Tower in order to find our progression today, because the chime is blocking us.
I actually don't mind that. If I was in this position, I would not complain about that necessarily, because honestly, knowing you don't have to go to Sky, that helps to narrow down the places you really do need to explore. He's already done Waterfall, he's already done Ice Cave. Once he cranks out Ordeals at this point, he's pretty much going to be looking at key-locked areas, and then Volcano and Earth. And if it was me, I'd probably go Volcano first because the chest density is better.
Well, you also have to remember we do have the Oxyale, so this could be a Mermaids or Kraken side play. The chest density there is about equivalent to the Volcano, so it becomes a question of which do you feel the need to do first?
I do Volcano. Like, I know the levels are better there in Water or in Sea Shrine, but every time I go there, like, the lobsters destroy me, and I'm just like, you know what? I'll take my chances with Volcano right now.
Yes, and we do have to keep in mind, FizzleBeef does not have the Marsh information. So, we are going to potentially see FizzleBeef head back for that Marsh play, because he knows he's missing that chime, and he knows he has an incentive location remaining.
I don't think he's going to complain when he finds the Mazamoon and the ribbon, but he's also probably going to be sitting there going, I could have skipped this.
That will depend if he checks North Side Marsh or not. Many people will make a play for the incentive item and get out, so we'll have to see what his decision is once he gets there.
Thing is, though, he may just skip it and decide to go check out some other stuff first. He knows he's most of the way on the path at this point, and we've seen plenty of people take a gamble and not bother with Marsh and have it pay off in this tournament already, so...
Yes, I'm not sure whether to call that the crab cakes or the moist mogwai.
You definitely don't want to call it the moist crab cakes, because you hate it when your crab cakes get moist. You want them nice and flaky, a little crispy on the edges.
Oh, that's... You're making me hungry, and I don't have time to eat. I'm watching a 4-person Final Fantasy randomizer race here today. What are you doing to me?
It's late enough. Who wants to make crab cakes right now? I mean, they're delicious, but I ain't got that kind of time.
Oh, man. All right.
And I got the chat talking about what kind of crab cakes are the best, so you're welcome.
All right, MeleeWizard finding the gold bracelet in Matoya's. Looks like he'll be able to equip up a little bit and save himself some time, while Captain Nerd finds that black shirt and heads for the incentive item in Marsh. We have FizzleBeef checking through ordeals, and it looks like ArsonHorse has found Onrak at Crescent Lake, but is noping back out. Apparently that's not what ArsonHorse was looking for. May have been a mistake in his notes there. We'll have to find out later.
That gold bracelet is nice to find. It's good armor. And also, I don't necessarily know if we've seen where gold bracelets are for sale here.
Gold bracelets were about 48,000, so they were very expensive in one of the earlier towns. So that's
that was what I was going to say.
Not want to do.
Like, they're great to find, but almost invariably with the way that these seeds are set up, they're generally expensive. So when you can find them, that's money you don't have to spend.
Yes, but later in the race, especially as we head towards the Fiends and into the Temple of Fiends Revisited, we usually have enough cash to afford just about anything we want. I see a lot of racers end up with 200,000, 300,000 gold because they do a short grind on either the Agamas or the Zombie Ds or whatever's convenient, and they build up a heck of a bank account before they get ready to take on all the Fiends and enter Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Sure, but when your gold bracelets are 50 grand, even 200 grand, that's still going to put a decent dent in there, especially when you have other spells to buy as well. It's like, get those out of the way while you can, and if you find one for free, all the better.
Alright, looks like
Chad is
Melee
noting that half the thieves in the game so far are dead, which is, you know, at this point in the game, the natural state of a thief. By the mid-game, the thief has become a little weak and squishy, and their run capability isn't as necessary, because you're going to start needing to build up your levels. Thief doesn't get interesting again until you can do what FizzleBeef did, get that tail out and upgrade them so they actually have some usefulness again.
Now, there's 44,000 in the Elfland Treasury, so I guess those gold bracelets aren't going to be out of reach for very long.
Apparently not. I'll take back what I said then. Nice thing about that black shirt also, for most of the people who have a black wizard, that's basically a free gold bracelet with benefits that you don't have to buy at this point if you already have it in your inventory, because black wizard can wear it. It's basically the same absorb as same absorb as the gold bracelet, and you also get, what is it, time defense as well on them, I think, and the ability to cast ice too in combat. So black shirt is a great item for your black wizard.
Yes, especially in seeds where you happen to be short something like an extra ribbon. It can defend you against certain instant death spells that are of the time element, so it is a very nice find.
Yeah, it's one of only 2 items, I believe, in the game that gives you time protection, the other being the ribbon. So it gives you a certain amount of benefit. You throw black shirt and a pro ring on your black wizard, and they're actually fairly decently protected, all things considered.
Yes, it looks like ArsonHorse is considering. He thinks about the armory dive, changes his mind, and is headed straight into the ice cave.
Not a bad play. There's a good item here he's going to need. Considering what we know about where he's at this point in the game and what's available, you're going to have to make this ice dive eventually anyway. This is a worthwhile play. Although I always wondered, you have one staircase leading up at the start of Ice Cave, and then you have another staircase on the same floor further out. How do they both lead to the same entrance? What kind of weird voodoo magic is going on in this Ice Cave to make that happen?
Oh, well, the wizards are trying to glance ArsonHorse. The ghouls are stone-touching FizzleBeef. His fighter is already been turned to stone, but he has a soft potion and brings him right back up.
It's worth noting with what's going on with ArsonHorse right there. He doesn't appear to have any lightning magic, doesn't have a Zeus Gauntlet or something else right now, so he's going at it with like Fire 3 and Mage Staff and Ice Shirt. And mages, wizards, are protected against fire and ice magic. They don't have a protection against lightning. That's not to say that they are weak against them, but they don't have a protection against them, so when you have a chance to use lightning magic against them, that's the one you want to use.
Don't forget, though, Dark, we have class promotion for FizzleBeef, so that Fade at level 1 is on his Knight and his Red Wizard.
But he wasn't using it. So he was using other stuff. Probably want to conserve his charges right now, I would guess.
That is a possibility. He may also have been trying to just get himself out of the upper floor and house up so he could make use of those charges here on the run to what we know is an incentivized ribbon.
Fizzlebeef is in Marsh Cave, and Fizzlebeef did pick up his Mazamoon, so he's going to do a little dance of joy for that one, because the Mazamoon is a great sword. There are certain swords that probably have a better critical hit rate, or have certain benefits the Mazamoon doesn't have. The key to the Mazamoon, along with the fact that it does a whole ton of damage when you swing it, is the fact that it can be swung by anyone.
Alright, Captain Nerd has made it to the incentivized chest. He has one Light Warrior left remaining. His Black Mage is all that's left. We're going to have to see if he can make it out of here. While ArsonHorse does make the dive and finds his loot.
I feel for Captain Nerd. I've been here. This is rough.
Oh, and those gargoyles do get him. He falls, and we are beginning our redive for Captain Nerd into the Marsh Cave.
He's struggling at this point, but I can't blame him. With the amount of troubles he's had between the Sahags and the Peds and the Wizards here, it's been like a 1-2-3 punch against him. It's rough.
Yeah, he has not had good luck with his turn order or his RNG this evening. It has been rough.
And then he gets Scorpions, and no one likes seeing Scorpions.
Well, compared to everything else in here, he might like seeing Scorpions.
He got away from them. He did get away from them, and then gets stuck by the muck.
Alright, and MeleeWizard is continuing to reset out. He must be looking for something specific on this dive towards either Volcano or Ice Cave. There, he's finally made it far enough in. He saves and continues his routing, and he is canoeing straight to the Ice Cave. He is hoping for that floater.
He may have been playing the encounter RNG, trying to get past bad encounters to get to a good one. I mean, that's the thing about it. The thing to note for people who aren't used to this game is that there are two ways of resetting your game. One of them, the full power-off, will reset the RNG table, take you back to the start of it, and then let you slowly start burning your way through the fixed encounter table again. Get encounters in the same place in the same way that you expect them. The other way is a soft reset, as if you push the reset button on your NES, and that will get you out of the encounter you're immediately in, because you're resetting out of it, but it won't reset you back to the start. It will just put you one spot ahead in the encounter table, so you can keep burning through. So that was what Melee was probably doing, is burn off the first couple and then use a long run he knows is coming deeper in the encounter table to get through and get a nice long dive towards the Ice Cave.
Alright, and Fizzlebeef has his incentive ribbon and is going to do keylocked Marsh checks while he's here. So we're going to get to see keylocked Marsh tonight.
I mean, you're here with the key. There's no harm in checking it at this point. Gets away from those cobras and gets himself a cat. I always feel like cabin is one of those items that at a certain point is just a whammy, because honestly, you can buy them usually for pretty cheap, and the number of cabins in chests just always makes you feel bad.
Well, and you also have to remember that two of the cabins are going to have replaced our free bridge and our free canal, so you never know if that's one of them that's protecting you from the Sarda Special.
It's worth pointing out, for those that may not be aware, that when they hit 12 key items, which at this point Fizzlebeef clearly has, because he has 10 lit up, you get an XP bonus of 150% over the current stats that we give everyone. Part of that is also to bear in mind that the bridge and the canal that the players get free, so that they automatically have access to the entire world once they find their ship, count as 2 of the 12. So with the 10 that LordFizzlebeef already has lit up, and the 2 freebies, he's at his 12 and is earning buku experience at this point.
Alright.
ArsonHorse looks like he got the flame armor, so good for him.
And he has cleared Ice Cave and is out of here.
Heck yeah! Get out while you can. Take the money and run.
Alright, looks like Arson is going to begin doing his locked chest checks.
Captain Nerd is struggling against those wizards again. But I think at this point,
that's rough to see.
He had to walk over here. He may be locked into this play at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, he may not be comfortable doing the dives in some of the higher end locations at the low level, and he is just going to have a rough time here with it, it looks like. Alright, Fizzlebeef has cleared out and exited Marsh Cave and appears to be on his way to... Oh, looks like he's going to go to Canaria. Maybe he's looking for a couple of spells or looking to restock on his save items.
Well, with heal pots cheap here, and honestly, houses are pretty darn cheap too. That 500 for a house is a great price in this game. It's a good time to refill while you're nearby, just get all your items and heal abilities back up, and be ready to go for the next leg of the journey. And it looks like what he's doing, he's just fully restocking on his heal pots while he can. Because he's close to go mode at this point.
Yes, it really looks like he's going to be just doing probably some chest density plays looking for his loose items. So we'll have to see. It looks like we're probably going to have at least one loose fetch quest item. We do not have, I believe, the bottle or the herb yet, or bottle or the crystal yet. So one of those is probably going to lead to either the other or onto that chime we are looking for to have access to Mirage Tower.
And get us full go mode, because the second we find that chime, we're in go.
Yes, with the Mosmune and everything else that Fizzle has, I definitely think the instant he sees that chime, we are probably not going to see another chest open the entire seed.
No, I mean, his armor situation isn't the best. I don't think he's picked up that Aegis from Dwarf yet, and I don't think he has Dragon or Opal armor yet. But it may not even be worth it to him. He may just risk it and go with what he has, because why not? I've been in that position. I'll just do it.
Yeah, I think it will boil down to how long it takes him to find that chime.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the flame armor, Aegis is going to be fairly strong, and he knows where gold bracelets are, and he knows he's got a lot of money.
Now, he's in a good position with this dungeon here. Ooh, Power Gauntlet. He's in a good position with this dungeon here right now, simply because of the fact that with the high levels he has and the decent equipment he has, he can full clear this place, get whatever key items might be lurking here, and then go take out Carrie all in one fell swoop, and he's good to go. He can just dip this dungeon once and move on with his life.
Yeah, especially with those Agama trap tiles he has access to in this dungeon. You never move the encounter table forward, and you get a guaranteed fight that you'll know the contents of every single step. So I fully expect him to make an XP play here, where he's passed his 12 key items, and he's got the Mosmune to take care of that Agama fairly easily for the most part.
He's in a good position all around for this dungeon, and honestly, his go mode, once he gets to it, is going to be pretty swank. But since he has to clear out a bunch of treasure, he's probably going to find any of those last bits of armor he needs, and his go mode is going to be awesome. Like, you hate having it be down to just finding the last 2 key items in dungeons, and yet at the same time, when you're sitting on a knight, you don't entirely complain, because the knight does best when he gets all the equipment he needs.
Oh, and there's a katana in the armory, so we're preparing to weaponize our ninja if necessary.
You mean our floor hugger?
Well, he's got to make sure that nobody's sneaking up from underground on the party.
I hear everyone keeps suffering from Quake. I'm gonna keep this floor steady, and then no one else has to worry about it. Meanwhile, Captain Nerd is trying his damnedest again to get through the Marsh cave. He's doing better this time, I think, than he has in the past. He still has 3 heroes up.
There's another monstrous find for FizzleBeef. We have the white shirt, so we have free evasion stacks for all of our Fiend Revisited fights now, so that'll be a big deal for later.
Yeah, which lessens the necessary armor that you have to get, because if the bosses can't hit you, then what's the big deal? Because for those who aren't aware, the white shirt allows you to cast a free cast of Invis 2. It's unlimited, you just keep using the white shirt and keep casting it. And Invis 2 raises your evade, which allows you to just dodge any attacks that might be coming your way automatically. Once a boss can't hit you, it can't do damage.
And that will be very helpful for this Carrie fight, because with those 6 arms, she can hit pretty hard, even as a vanilla version Fiend.
She can. She can be terrifying to a low-level party, just like Kraken can.
Oh, was that an opal bracelet? That's another huge find.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
this is what we were
Volcano
talking
is
about.
stocked.
Yeah. This is what we're talking about. Just because, and there's the crystal, so that allows him to move on. Although, as deep as he is in here, I figure he's just going to finish full clearing it, because you don't want to accidentally pass up the chime if, you know, crystal leads to ruby, and then you get nothing out of this dungeon dive and have to come back.
Absolutely. We had one of these plays last night. We had a 50-50. Each runner found one loose item, and it came down to which one led to the final piece of progression. These races can hinge on things like that, and we may be seeing another one right here.
And yeah, Shadow Walker in chat just adding a little bit of clarification for me that I forgot to mention. White Shirt allows you to avoid physical attacks. Spells and skills are still going to make it through, so it's not 100% protected, but it certainly helps a lot. There's a flame shield that he's skipping past.
Wow, Fizzlebeef just ditching the flame shield. Not a care in the world. He is really moving.
He may not care about that ninja, just gonna leave him sitting there guarding the floor.
With fast at level 1, I'd be tempted to at least try to keep the ninja up long enough to get those fasts off to save spell charges on those red and black wizards. But Fizzlebeef looks like that he doesn't have a care in the world. He's just going.
He doesn't even have time to cast spells at this point. His black wizard is slinging the Mazamoon, and it's just a 3-sword party right there on his side. It's fantastic to see. I'm guessing Captain Nerd actually finally made it out at this point of the Marsh Cave because he's walked away. I'm hoping he managed to get that ribbon.
Yeah, he's had just a real rough seed today. He's run into... especially the trances on the Sahags were just holding him down for that blizzard. He just got a real icy reception from the seed, and it doesn't seem to be improving much.
Definitely giving him the cold shoulder, you might say.
All right, Fizzlebeef getting ready to pull carry as ArsonHorse enters Volcano to find himself the treasure trove that Volcano is for equipment today.
Meanwhile, Fizzlebeef is already up to carry. He is just blasting through this dungeon at this point. Gets the fast off. Knight comes out swinging, over 400 damage. A Fade follows up, and Carrie is already eliminated before she even gets a chance to do anything. That's one fiend down. Fizzlebeef at 1 hour, almost exactly, is the first on the board with the first of his crystals lit.
My goodness, I'd have almost thought that was Lich as fast as that fiend fell.
Glorified speed bump. And that leads to the bottle. So hopefully the bottle leads to the chime. What you want to know is that the ruby is loose and you don't have to go track it down.
Yes, we're going to have a 50-50 play here. Mm-hmm. If this bottle leads to the ruby, we have the hunt on. If it leads to the chime, Fizzlebeef is going to begin burning feet through this seed.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a flame trail coming out the backside of that fighter there. Yeah.
Actually, from the looks of it, I'm getting just a little bit of, ghosting from his sprite as he moves across because of the frame rate he's at. So it really does look like literal flame trails on the ground from him.
He's burning rubber, the stones in the castle. He's burning everything today, folks. He is rushing the end of this seed.
Maverick, Kanissa, he's not quite in go mode yet, just because he's still technically looking for the chime. He's acting like it, even though he's going and checking some of these treasure chests, because, he's probably still hoping for dragon armor or Aegis, or maybe that other loose item floating around here. And now that he sees it, going back for it. He is probably, I'd give him 5 minutes away from go mode, so long as that crystal that became the bottle actually leads to the chime. If he gets the chime off of this, he's done. I think he'll be go at that point.
Not going back for the pro cape for the mages did surprise me a little bit right there, but he is on his way. Oh, looks like we had a stop-start there. Fizzle double-checking stuff and going back for some more fighter magic, I would guess.
Invis 2. Absolutely.
Yep. Gotta have the Invis 2.
Doesn't even care about Expert, just wants the Invis 2. Expert being one of those underrated spells that now that it's fixed in the Randomizer, because it didn't work in the original game, is a great spell to have against bosses like Chaos, who have a high level of elemental defense and protection, and just don't normally fall prey to the various insta-death spells. If you can get an Expert to go up, which I believe has a slightly better ratio than the insta-death spells themselves, Expert's a great one to have.
Ooh, Fizzlebeef having a rough time. We know that Gaia was at Onrak, but he is going around checking multiple towns. He forgot where Gaia landed in this randomized towns flag set we have for our Swiss seeds this year.
That's the thing about random towns. It's the only thing that's mixed up. Sometimes you don't feel the need to actually take notes on it. You figure you can memorize it, and then every once in a while you get that town that just bites you because you're like, crap, where was this again?
Yep, looks like Fizzle is checking the white and the black magic at level 7. Probably wondering where that temper landed.
Harm 4 is a lovely spell, but it's not that lovely at level 7.
Yeah, definitely not, especially with Fire 3 as early as we saw it. Harm 4 is just not a real necessity for us today.
As far as I know, it does fade damage, and when you already have fade at level 1, Harm 4's...
Oh my, the fetch quest led to the ruby. We have a chime hiding from us out in the world. Here we go. The hunt is on, folks. Where's it going to be? Is it going to be in Titan's Trove now that we got the ruby? Is it going to be buried in 4th floor Earth? Maybe it's hiding with the mermaids. We're going to have to see where it lands.
Now, you're here, and Fizzlebeef is doing it. He's gonna check Titan's Trove while he's here, just cause. It's four treasures. You don't want it to bite you if the key item is there. The likelihood is low, but still.
Well, I also like this play because it merges right into an Earth play. So he can go ahead and full clear. Oh, but he's noping out. Looks like he's going to go to Crescent Lake first, which we know is on rack, and make the sea dive.
And it was the question I was going to ask is, once you do it, do you go to Earth, or do you go out over to Sea Shrine? But with Sea Shrine sitting right over here at Onrak, it's not like the flight time was all that different. Yeah, with
Sea Shrine in this location, it has a higher chest density, so I don't mind this play from Fizzlebeef.
Not in the least.
I really don't mind either play here because you're going to have to do both. It's just a feel thing. Which one do you think is more likely to hold your progression? Because we know that Mirage Tower is not a possibility because, of course, it's the chime we're looking for, which is what unlocks the Mirage Tower.
And ArsonHorse, out of anchor, tries to crash into the volcano. Now, it's basically ArsonHorse at this point is, I would say, 3 to 5 minutes behind Fizzlebeef. He's following similar steps. I think he got hung up a little in the early game, but he's basically hot on Fizzlebeef's tail right now. It's just he's got to take care of all the locations that Fizzle's already cleared through.
Yes, and I don't think he ever went down to the original Lefane to get his slab translated, did he?
It's marked off with an exclamation point, but I don't recall actually seeing him go there.
We'll look for some confirmation there, because if he has done that, I'm surprised he didn't stop right back by Lefane, which was in Gaia, and turned it in for his cube.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the cube, but without the chime, the cube isn't really all that useful. Not that he knows it's going to be coming yet. But it's a good path he's on, it's just that we know that Fizzlebeef had a slightly more efficient path.
Yeah, that early waterfall that he got through that ArsonHorse noped out of after finding the information about the unrunnable nightmares really made a difference with the early game speed that they were both able to attain. That is where most of our difference is coming from at this point.
Yeah,
and oh no, Captain Nerd is stuck in the trance revolution yet again. His whole party is stunned. Oh, a couple make it back up. He has a chance to get away here, but he's attacking.
Quake isn't going to work here.
And Captain Nerd is trying to quake the enemies, and that is not going to work well on the sea.
I mean, it did take one out by that 3 in 256 chance, but because they're sea-based monsters, just like with air-based monsters, they are not affected by Quake in the way that your other early-level enemies are going to be.
All right.
Looks like we have another ribbon over in the sea cave, so that puts Fizzlebeef up to 2.
And a Thor Hammer, so we now have even more item-based AoE to save spell charges.
And here in Sea Cave, with the Zeus Gauntlet he already has and that Thor Hammer, those are great items to have, because most everything except for the waters he's up against right now are weak to lightning magic.
All right, Captain Nerd remembers to turn in that herb, and he does now have his canoe. So he's going to have some more progression ability now.
Yeah, we gotta give special credit to FizzleBeef here, because he is doing just a super efficient run of all of these chests through the Sea Cave. He has this area mapped out in his head, and he is just burning rubber through everything. It's not Go mode, but he's almost moving as fast as Go mode at this point.
Yep, he is really burning through these chests and just leaving everything behind that he knows he doesn't need. So he's going to have very few chests he's going to have to do any menuing to get. He's just looking for that one loose item and ready to go.
Fizzle is 3-0 if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Oh, FizzleBeef is 2-1, as is ArsonHorse.
He's acting like he's 3-0, I will say that much. His gameplay tonight is spot on.
Yes, this has been a very high-quality run from FizzleBeef.
It has. It's fantastic. I mean, the only reason why he's not, like, further ahead with being an hour and 10 minutes on the clock is simply because of the way the seed was laid out and all the places he had to visit back and forth just to get stuff. His routing has been super efficient this whole time. MeleeWizard, by the way, is dipping into Volcano, while ArsonHorse is going up against that speed bump carry we saw earlier.
Yes, you will have to remember that FizzleBeef fell victim to the Falconic strats in Week 1 that involved some use of that spell we know as Exfer.
Which might explain why he didn't buy it, because he was cursed by the luck earlier. Now, Carrie here this time around actually has made it 2 rounds in before dying. So she put up a little more of a fight than we saw from FizzleBeef, but ArsonHorse still quickly takes her out, no big deal.
And based on the timing of those 2 carry fights, ArsonHorse looks like he's behind by about 9 minutes on the timing of that orb.
9 minutes, 20 seconds, yeah, if we want to be exact, so... But there's still a couple places he has to go that LordFizzlebeef has already taken care of, which might actually extend this out to close to a 15-minute lead, I would say.
Oh no, Captain Nerd has fallen victim to the Trance-Blizzard combo yet again. Just some brutal luck on the high seas today for Captain Nerd.
Yeah, he really needs to get over to Waterfall and get that floater as fast as he can, because he needs to get off the water. Those Sayhags are obliteratingly nasty right now.
Yeah, the Trance combination with Blizzard is just a brutal combo to deal with. FizzleBeef has pulled Kraken, and the Brack strats are coming out and not being favorable today. That is multiple Bracks that have failed. So we are changing over to the Fade and the Nuke strats.
Yeah, when you can't eliminate them quickly, just eliminate them as fast as you can with overwhelming force. Suppressing fire, if you will.
Oh, Kraken, not being very polite, has that fighter down to 1 knee. And the Fade comes out and is not enough. Oh, this Kraken is high on the HP level here.
Thunder, actually, in this case, was probably the best thing he could have hoped for, because that at least meant the fighter got to stay up 1 more round, and he and the Red Mage survived to live another day.
Wow, talk about cutting it close. That fighter had 40 HP left, and he runs 2 steps and hits an encounter before he gets out, but he gets away. And the orb is lit for FizzleBeef.
The last thing you want to see when you're in that position is a pack of lobsters show up to ruin your day, because lobsters hit hard. Even against the knight, they hit hard.
Man, that was cutting it seriously close.
So, 11 minutes after he lit his first orb, FizzleBeef has the second one on the clock. ArsonHorse again following in FizzleBeef's path. He's taken out the ruby that he got from the Titan. Didn't feel like it was worthwhile. And he's making the big play that he probably needed to make, even if he didn't realize it. While FizzleBeef went off to do Siege Shrine and he's exploring the Mermaid site, ArsonHorse is doing a dip of at least the first floor of Earth Cave.
We have a route divergence. Where is the chime going to fall? Is it going to be in Earth and give ArsonHorse a catch-up mechanic, or is it in the Mermaids and FizzleBeef is going to hit Go mode right here? Melee flying through the volcano dive. He's already cleared down onto the lower floors, and it looks like we're going to see that ever-vaunted black belt grind on the Agamas.
It's the thing, when you have a black belt, you're pretty much committing yourself to a grind like this, either the Agamas or the Eye down an Ice Cave, and with how nasty Ice Cave was, but apparently after seeing how strong the Agamas were, he's out.
Oh, well...
I do not know where he's going to do his grind then.
Well, I don't know. Is he going to attempt to take carry out without a grind? Ooh, this is going to be a gutsy play from MeleeWizard here.
As chat points out, Melee does not have his 12 key items yet, so the grind would be lengthy. But at the same time, what choice do you have against a carry at this point?
And the Agamas are extremely beefy, so that is going to be the other factor in this.
Yeah, it's rough. And we actually know that carry can put up a fight. I don't know if I like the chances of this party, honestly.
Ooh. Melee finds out that the red Ds are not actually that beefy, but it doesn't look like he's going to take them either. I don't know what he's going to do here.
They weren't that beefy, but they were still packing into his black belt for a lot of damage.
Alright, Captain Nerd is making the on-rack play.
While ArsonHorse is going 2 floors deep into Earth, still containing a full clear. This is going to be a complete clear here, so it's a matter of whether the mermaid is over in... whether the item is over in Mermaids or is in the Earth Cave.
Yep,
now, it looks as though we just lost the fighter or the knight over on FizzleBeef's side. I'm wondering what it is that took him out, because oof, that was a lot of damage that must have laid into him, or a death touch.
Yep, that unrunnable Sahag pack, which is the flip side of the pirate fight for Bicky, which means it is always going to be unrunnable no matter the fight at the current state of the randomizer. There have been discussions to remove that particular fight from being permanently unrunnable, but our devs have not yet got that completed.
Now it looks like Melee is going in for this carry fight.
Oh, there's our loose crown in the mermaids. I would guess we have our progression. We're going to have Astos holding the chime.
Crown has to lead to something. There can't... Well, I mean, technically it could lead to a cabin, but more than likely it's going to lead to that chime, which puts LordFizzlebeef at this point in effective go mode. He's going to go verify it right now, after checking the Astos treasury.
And he's going to do the 3 treasury chests first.
He's going to go steal from the kindly old king, which explains why he gets mad and becomes an evil dark elf.
Well, losing 2,000 gold in a pure potion, I guess, really ticked him off today.
Did. That was his retirement savings. There's our chime. He's in go mode.
FizzleBeef has go mode at 1 hour and 15. He is really burning up this seed. He's going to be able to go mode Earth, go mode Sky, and head straight into the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
I'm willing to bet that by 1:30 on the clock, he's going to be doing his first dive at this point.
Yes, I would definitely expect that. He may even, at this point, bypass ArsonHorse in Earth Cave. A go mode Earth Cave versus a full clear is a huge time difference in Earth Cave.
Yeah, ArsonHorse basically had to make this play. He was far... I'm sure he felt far enough behind at this point. He's got red on his timer right now saying he's behind where he expects to be. He was probably sitting there going, I gotta make a gamble, and I gotta hope that this pays off for the items I need. Unfortunately, in this particular instance, although it's paid off in other races in this tournament, Earth Cave did not have the magic we were looking for.
Yep, definitely a rough day for ArsonHorse. Each play that he's made in this seed seems to have been the wrong one. He found the unrunnable nightmares in Waterfall, got out of there. Found out he was going to have a rough time getting through ordeals, got out of there. Went into Marsh, found all that it held was the Mosmune and the ribbon, which the Mosmune's great and the ribbon is great, but it is not progression, which set him back a fair amount because sailing to all those locations took a lot of time for ArsonHorse today.
Now, it's worth noting that Captain Nerd is in the Waterfall now. He is going to be able to hopefully get that floater and get his progression going, and that's going to get him off the seas finally and away from all those darn Blizzard stay hags, giving him the cold shoulder as they have their DJ dance party.
Yeah, the Sahag party has been the bane of Captain Nerd C tonight. They have just been constantly harassing his every step.
Ain't nobody got time for that Sahag party. They say they've got cold beers on tap, but do you know how they're making them cold? Blizzard, you want nothing to do with that. He does have 2 red mages up. I'm really hoping he has a warp or an exit charge available so he can get out of here as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
Yep,
ArsonHorse continuing his full clear, and FizzleBeef passing him as he checks the north side of 4th floor Earth. So FizzleBeef is going to begin extending this lead now with that go mode information that he has.
Yeah, as chat points out, FizzleBeef didn't even check the greed chest in the vampire room. He is full go mode. He doesn't even care about whatever equipment he might be missing. He's got everything he needs, and he's making a beeline through these dungeons to get straight to chaos.
Alright, Captain Nerd has made it out and saved his floater. We are going to have one of our runners on the bottom half of our screen in the air quickly, and we're going to be moving ourselves along now.
So no, ArsonHorse did find the opal armor in Earth B4. I'm not certain Fizzle even has the dragon armor at this point, because that was the first bit of equipment that ArsonHorse really put on his knight that was, like, substantial. So I'm thinking that Fizzle just doesn't care at this point.
Yeah, I think Fizzle is rocking the flame armor and the Aegis shield on his fighter, which should be sufficient with our with the levels he has and the weaponry he has. Between the Mosmune and the X-Cal, I don't foresee him having any problems.
Yeah, flame armor is actually slightly better, I believe, than the gold bracelet as far as defense is concerned. And gold bracelet is great armor for your various mages. His knight's not going to really be hurting at this point with the boss scaling on their stats that we have for this round of the tournament.
Yes, FizzleBeef out of Earth and on his way to, I'm sure, the Mirage Tower. Looks like he's stopping off for a little shopping potentially here in Elfland. Maybe grabbing an extra spell for that fighter from the White Magic Shop at level 3.
Yeah,
and
with his
yes,
upgraded fighter, he's definitely... Yeah, he's picking up exit from the looks of it.
not sure why he would need exit at this point with only Temple of Fiends Revisited and Mirage Tower left.
Right.
But he may be looking for the safety exit in case something in Topher rolls really nasty so he can salvage levels and get himself back in without losing the fights he's taken.
Yeah, I think it's entirely the effective Topher grind. He gets in there, he can do a few levels if he has to against gas thieves or something, exit out, traveling 2,000 years back into the future again, and get those levels saved so that he can take another dive after that and keep working his way through. We've seen enough nasty Tophers, even at the scaling that we have right now.
No! We have somebody that's going to eat the steak! Tyros are your friend, FizzleBeef! What are you doing?
No, that's delicious.
Don't kill
DXC.
the steak!
That is absolutely...
Oh, no.
The only thing I am upset about is that he nuked the steak. Don't nuke your steak, you need to sear it gently. Otherwise, you ruin the texture of it completely.
Oh, no. The poor Tyros. They're an endangered species, Dark! What are you doing?
They're delicious, and I don't care. The endangered ones are the T-Rexes, and you know what? I'll eat them, too. Meanwhile, ArsonHorse is over in the sea shrine, taking out Gersharks as he makes his way through, looking for the items that he needs.
Well, he is going to find a very important one here. We do know that that crown and mermaids will lead him to that chime. An ever-important find.
Unfortunately, he's already done his volcano clear at this point, so it's really not going to save him any time, any way to catch up. This is probably going to still leave him a good 15 to 20 minutes behind, I think. It's a Topher dive. It's only one Topher dive, and if Topher is bad, then these two are going to sink right back up again, but...
Oh, the Wizzahags have an instant death ability. I believe that was Glare.
That was what I was worried about. I saw that the knight was down on FizzleBeef's side earlier, and that's what I was wondering was whether or not they had the instant-death spell of some kind. Death touch or death spell.
It looked like an instant death ability, as MeleeWizard gets the bad news that Crystal to Bottle leads to the Ruby. What a letdown that must be for MeleeWizard.
Map strats. Map strats from Captain Nerd. I can't blame him for that. This map is confusing when you're first starting off in this game, and it takes a long time to memorize everything that's going on here.
But he is getting back to the Ryokan Desert. He is going to hold that rock in his hands and levitate that airship right out of the sand.
And credit
Captain
to him,
Nerd is airborne.
Credit to him, he remembered that there's a dock there. There isn't a dock there in the original game, but the Ryokan Desert has one extended open progression, which allows you to park your ship there and get up and into the air. If you didn't have that dock, you'd have to have the canoe for it. But he didn't have to worry about that at all. He remembered. That's a great move for this starting off player in his career. Smart move. He knew it. Good for him.
Yes, open and extended open progression with the additional things they put in place, like the docks and the extra river tiles to get everyone around from Provoca to Crescent Lake and into Ice and Volcano are very important things. And there's the dragon armor in the room with the crown. So it looks like Fizzlebeef should have the dragon armor.
Hopefully. I don't remember whether or not he grabbed it and then just immediately bailed or not.
Yeah, it was in the same room as the crown, so I doubt there's a whole lot of threat there that he missed it, but it is always possible.
I mean, I've been in positions where I see the one treasure I need, and I know I'm one step from go mode anyway, and I'm just like, exit, don't care what else is in here, I'm just getting out, I want to move. And you gotta feel like they're both under pressure. They want to make sure that they get to 3-1 next week and not 2-2, because they don't want to have to be forced into an awful play-in race just to get into another play-in race. Like, their scores are on the line here right now.
Yes, this is definitely a big race. I'd like to remind everybody, we currently have going on, we have the Master of the Black Belts, Gregory Puff, facing the Mama Duck herself, Moist Mogwai, and later tonight, actually in about 2 minutes, we're going to start the match of the undefeateds, the heavyweight championship of the world. It's Edgeworth and Minochi 85. And then at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're wrapping up your Friday night with massive amounts of randomizer. It is a third match between Zardia and, gosh, Dark Moon. Is that Lord of the Synth I see? My goodness, we have some night owls in our randomizer community tonight. They are going on at 2 o'clock in the morning.
As far as I know, Will Cleosis is going to be running that match as commentator, doing that one himself at 2 a.m. Now, the Moist Mogwai versus Gregory Puff match, that's going on right now over on Speed Gaming 4. Meanwhile, the Midnight Madness, Edgeworth versus Minochi, and then the 2 a.m. Red Eye Flight between Zar and Lord of the Synth. Those are both going to be on Speed Gaming Prime. So you've got plenty to watch now and into the future to carry you through until the sun rises and the birds start singing again.
Oh my, there is a ribbon in the free chests on the way to Kraken. So we have another ribbon find for ArsonHorse.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's the one that Fizzlebeef had, so that should tie them up 2-2 there on the ribbon count. And I didn't even have a chance to see Lord Fizzlebeef fight Tiamat because we were doing schedules and so forth. But he is already at 1 hour and 25 minutes doing his first dive into the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
All right.
If you like playing the Dawn of Souls version, Chaos Shrine.
Yes, Fizzlebeef is just bum rushing this seed tonight. An hour 25 with multiple loose items that led to progression is a phenomenal time.
Oh yeah, he is doing fantastically right now. And I would not be surprised at this point if he just goes straight through this and doesn't stop and just tries to see what's going on with this Topher. Hope that that's a paper Topher, and then he can just burn through this and wrap it up in the next 15 minutes.
Yes, with that Mosmune, it gives him a very good opportunity to bum rush this seed, and it's made an even greater chance by the fact that Fast was level 1 magic. So he is going to have plenty of casts of that Fast spell.
He's in a good position with Fade and Fast and Life 1 on most of his party members. He is in a great position to take out most of the bosses here, and even if he loses 1 or 2 members, he should have the charges of the spells he needs to get the party back up and running in no time. It is worth noting that Ninja is still kissing floor on Fizzlebeef's side. he is committed to these 3-member parties. The only time we might see the ninja take a knee again after this is if he needs a body to throw at Kraken.
Yes, I assume if the Red Wizard still has a significant number of life charges, that ninja may be making a sacrificial lamb appearance for Carrie, Kraken, and Tiamat.
Yeah, he's just gonna prop it up and be like, hey, this ninja, it's actually a white mage, go attack it, because we know how much Kraken loves taking out white mages.
Kraken loves taking out mages no matter what the flavor. He'll take out some strawberry mages, some chocolate mages, he'll take out any type of mage.
Just the whole Neapolitan of mages is what you're saying.
Yes, if you bring a Neapolitan party of mages, Kraken will take them all out.
In the later games with the various fruit sorbet mages as well, none of them will stand against Kraken.
Oh, you've got your blueberry mage, you've got your orange mage, Kraken will deal with them, he's hungry.
Yeah, by the time you get like FF1 rolling around, there are so many different mage types, Kraken could just have an absolute buffet feast.
Alright, FizzleBeef.
Looks like there's a lot of unrunnables or just ambush-heavy encounters here, because FizzleBeef has had to take a lot of encounters as he's been going through this whole area.
I think it looks like his party is 23, so this may be taking fights for the sake of getting that level 24 for the fighter, because this level 24 is extremely significant with this item layout because of the Mosmune. Dark Moon, tell him why.
Well, it's the fact that the Mosmune has certain, what we like to say, quote-unquote, breakpoints. At level 24, it gets extra hits and becomes much more useful to that knight. So you want to try and get him to 24. The next one is what, like 29 or 30, I think? 24 is an easy-to-achieve number with the experience levels that we're working at right now. You can get that pretty quickly through Temple of Fiends and then be ready to unleash extra damage against any of the foes you're having to take out as you go. So
24 is the breakpoint for the Mosmune, Dark Moon. 29 is actually the breakpoint for the Vorpal for an extra hit. The next Mosmune breakpoint for a knight happens at level 35.
Thank you very much. There are so many numbers to memorize in this game.
Yes, that is one of the reasons to make sure you get on over to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord. We have pinned messages all over the place to give you information about things like the spell lists, spell permissions, breakpoints for weapons. It's a great group of people over there in the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord. The community's phenomenal, and they're just loaded with information.
That promotion there for the Discord was seamless, Hyro. Nicely done. So,
we'll get that
in the time it took
up
for us
there.
to say that, Lich 2 is already gone. I blink and you miss it on that one. That speed bump was nothing.
Well, it is Lich. I have seen Yugos that could run over Lich and be effective.
Key Audition, any mech sightings yet? Talking about War Mech in the chat room. So far we haven't, but then I barely even had a Tiamat sighting right there with how fast FizzleBeef went.
We are going to have an opportunity on ArsonHorse's screen very soon, and with both of our runners on the bottom half of our screen now airborne, we're going to get the checks made, start finding those key items, and probably be headed up into those fiend dungeons quickly for those two as well.
And considering their experience level, the bottom two players are doing really well at an hour and 30. They're in the air, they're a good portion of the way through their key items. MeleeWizard already has one crystal lit on the board. They're making great progress, and yeah, it's great to see these new players just working their way through the game as fast as they are. Yeah,
though Captain Nerd had a really rough first about 45 minutes with those Sahag packs that were trancing and blizzarding him all over the place, so he's making a heck of a recovery right here.
Oh yeah, he's bounced back really strongly at this point. Considering where he was and where he's at now, having most of the key items he needs, that's a fantastic showing.
Alright, FizzleBeef getting prepared to pull the carry fight as ArsonHorse finishes up Sky 3, is about to take the teleporters, and we will need your bless RNGs in chat because we will have our second Bridge of Destiny of the evening.
Now note, FizzleBeef did resurrect that ninja. He's got his sacrificial lamb up in front of Carrie. Fight, fade, and nuke. It doesn't look like he's giving Carrie any respect. He's going full tilt damage at this point.
Hoping that Carrie will swing at that ninja. Just a fire 2 from Carrie. She's not packing much of a wallop with that first turn.
Chip damage, that's nothing right there. Brings up the quad X, but Carrie still has over... Ooh! There we go, there's a little fire from Carrie. That's a nuclear right there. 2 quad X's failed because we didn't get the extra damage in there. 640 damage comes out, still not enough to take out Carrie. This Carrie has some health along with that heat she's packing. Quad X comes out, erased and terminated, and that's all we wrote for Carrie 2.
Alright, Carrie 2 did pack a nuclear in an early skill slot there. That could be very dangerous, especially to any black mages we have going through the seed tonight.
However, his party was able to get through it just fine, and all she did was take out the sacrificial ninja anyway. I don't think that's any skin off LordFizzlebeef's nose at all.
Yeah, I think FizzleBeef was easily mentally prepared to lose that ninja in this particular party composition.
Dare we even say, hoping to lose it, honestly.
well, you're never hoping to lose a character in the Temple of Fiends Revisited, because any life charges you don't have to use is a life charge you have if something goes wrong later.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Gets away from the death-laden Wizzahags. He's just about up to Kraken right now. And looks like he's setting up his sacrificial lamb yet again.
Alright, that sacrificial lamb ready to go. And Tiamat falls almost as fast as a normal Lich sighting on ArsonHorse screen. And we have our third orb lit for ArsonHorse.
There's a lot of speed bumps in the early game. We do get our fast charge off on the Knight, a couple extra spell casts, going full damage at this point it looks like. Kraken so far really not doing much of anything, and then immediately dies, so that's 3 fiends down with only a little bit of fight from Carrie, but nothing that his party can't handle. Hero Run takes him all the way to Tiamat, and we're onwards yet again.
Wow, straight into Tiamat. FizzleBeef didn't even hesitate to think about doing any healing or prep, he's just right into the fight.
And Tiamat takes the bait and kills the ninja.
Oh, and ArsonHorse does have all 4 orbs lit. I'm sorry, folks, I misspoke there. We are into Topher at an hour 34. So he is still about that 9 minutes behind. So we're looking for a bad Tiamat or a bad Chaos here to give ArsonHorse a chance here.
We've got 4 rounds of Invis charges up. We had a Power Gauntlet. I think that's 2 Power Gauntlet blasts so far. Fastest coming out for the Knight while the Knight comes out swinging. 5 hits for almost 500 damage. This should get us 5 charges up on the Invis. Tiamat comes out with Blizzard, but with this party, that's not really much of anything to worry about.
Yeah, multiple ribbons, he's not concerned about that at all. But Tiamat backs that Blizzard up with Swirl and takes down the Black Mage. We have some skill list from Tiamat too.
We do. And just enough Absorb that the Knight hasn't quite yet killed off Tiamat. But that'll take care of it right there.
There's a swing for 600. That's a big hit from the Knight.
Life 2 comes out, resurrects the Black Mage. Some heal pots go out to heal up the rest of the party. Just get himself ready, just in case there's something else that they have to fight on the floor before Chaos. But that doesn't look like much of a concern. And now we're onwards towards Chaos for the final battle.
Alright, an hour and 35 minutes in, and FizzleBeef is pulling the ultimate fiend, Chaos, as ArsonHorse is already on the earth floor. He is flying through the lower portion of the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
We get 3 Invis 2 casts charged up, counting that white shirt. So that's going to get him halfway to full defense right now. Chaos blasts the ninja for 141, but it's not even enough to kill off the ninja, which is impressive. Another round of Invis charges, and this defense should be fully up after this. Chaos blasts at the Red Mage for 132 damage.
And we blinked and missed ArsonHorse taking out Lich too.
He was just a wet streak on the ground before we even got to him. Lich was nothing. Power Bonk's coming out, and it looks like we're doing fasts and power charges, getting everything ready for this blast. Heal 3 from the Red Mage, that's the one I missed. Get a little bit of health going back on this, try and get his party up so they can survive a nuke or a nuclear. Fighters queued up to fight. Nuke charge comes out for set up for the Black Mage. Fade charge from the Red Mage. And we're going full damage at this point, trying to take out Chaos.
Wow, 10 hits for only 300 damage on that Mazmune. Chaos has rolled some Absorb this evening.
Yeah, while he's blasting out with his spell charges, I might hit another bonk hit or 2 just to see if I can get that up. But 8 hits for 574, that's not bad at all. And already, Chaos is down.
All right, that is LordFizzlebeef finishing in first place with a time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 14 seconds.
And that is an official SRL time. I will check with him and see if he wants an interview at this point.
All right, well, we're working on that. We have ArsonHorse doing his best impersonation of a BMW on the Autobahn, flying through Temple of Fiends Revisited here. Already most of the way through the fire floor. And MeleeWizard is diving Sea Shrine. Looks like he's going to find that crown that's going to lead him to his chime, while Captain Nerd is diving the ice cave, headed to find his loot.
I mean, there's nothing that ArsonHorse did wrong. He got stuck in a couple spots earlier, but he has played a solid game at this point. You can see his timer is still in the green, so he's on a great pace for where he's normally at. He just... this Temple of Fiends was not designed to help you recover from a 9-minute deficit.
Yeah, the Earth Cave play, if the crown had been in Earth Cave, he may have made up a bunch of time right there, but when the crown landed in Mermaids, it just didn't give him any sort of chance of a recovery, and we are joined in the chat.
Hey there, Fizzlebeef, how's it going?
Hello.
GG's.
Panic, sweat, panic.
How concerned were you when you got done with the Kraken side and still hadn't found that loose item you knew had to lead to your chime?
100%. I was completely convinced at that point that what I was looking for was in Earth, and that was just going to be the thing that sunk me.
You made the right play there, though.
Yep, Arson made the play to Earth before Sea, and you went Sea before Earth, and that on top of your ability to make it out of that dangerous waterfall with all of those nightmares gave you the lead that you needed to carry it through to the end of the seed.
Oh my god, that waterfall. As soon as I saw that floater, I knew that I was not leaving that waterfall without that floater.
We debated that ourselves, and it was like that floater was key, but it was also at the same point, those nightmares were just atrocious.
True, but I had Zap, which, for better or for worse, was literally the only thing I had to take them down, I think, because I'm pretty sure they resist Earth. I know they resist Death.
Yeah, and your only clear spell really was Fire 3, which we know doesn't work well against the nightmares.
Right, and I didn't have any charges anyway. I didn't even think I had Fire 3 by the time I made it to Waterfall. I figured, as long as... I told myself, as long as the nightmares are runnable, or there isn't that much unrunnable stuff in Waterfall, I will be fine. And then everything went bad for a while.
Yeah, you had multiple dives in there.
Mm-hmm.
We know you visited Elfland, and you looked at the various spells, but I think you reset out after possibly purchasing a couple, so you may have just been on a level 1 magic, and that was it.
Correct, I reset out of there. I only had 1,000 gold at the time. I would have been able to pick up maybe one spell, and then I would have had to sail all the way back in the other direction. I just did Elfland as an information dive to know what spells I needed, to know if I could Dan the Thief, to know if there was gold bracelets there. And then after I got all the information I wanted, I just reset back to Canaria and went from there.
It was very efficient.
Yep.
And it worked out in the end, honestly.
Yeah, the big money early was the power staff fell in the 2 free chests in Dwarf Cave, and it was worth about 8,000 gold. So several people went that direction and sold it off to get those spells.
Mm-hmm.
It does. While we're talking here, it does look like Tiamat is putting up a bit more of a fight for ArsonHorse, taking a little longer to die. Although Tiamat, like most of the bosses in Topher, seems like little more than speed bumps to you, honestly.
And there, Tiamat falls to ArsonHorse.
I got my Knight to 24. I had Mazza, I had Bonk, I had Fast, I had easy access to Fade and Nuke. Well, an asterisk on that Nuke, but easy access to Fade. I was prepared, more than prepared, for basically everything leading up to Chaos. And I was just throwing everything at the first Fiends, and then hoping that Chaos wouldn't have anything weird and dumb.
Okay, let's handle this Chaos fight now, and then we will get back to you in just a second, Fizzlebeef. Want to make sure we give this fight its due. As ArsonHorse is doing one last check on the armor, and starts the battle up. You got Fast Charge queued up for the Knight, in Diz 2, White Shirt, and a Power Bonk from the Knight himself. This is going to put him 2 rounds up on his Fade, as Chaos tries to crack at the knight. It looks like for 180 something. It was a little hard to see at that point.
Yeah.
His various charges come up, and his defense is rolling.
Yeah, fast and a bonk in that first turn. This fighter ought to be ready to start swinging right away here. Looks like we're going to go straight to the damage strats from one red mage and the white shirt from the other. So we're going to try to keep that fighter alive while doing some damage to Chaos.
He does a quick band-aid on the fighter, puts that Cure 3 up, which isn't a bad idea if there's a nasty spell out, and then the Heal 3 as well coming around to make sure the whole party is up and ready to go. Chaos so far not really concerned with that ninja though, not taking the bait this time around.
We have fast on the ninja, so it looks like the katana is going to attempt to do some critting here. Oh, wow!
227, not bad, decent chip damage.
5 crits out of the katana, so we are really swinging a critting beast today.
Fade charges, Chaos is just chipping away at that ninja at this point, not doing much, and 7 hits for, I think, 750. And then another round, and ArsonHorse has defeated Chaos. Official SRL time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 20 seconds.
Keodician asking in chat if any spells for the knight were worthy of pickup this seed. We did have Fade learnable by the Red Wizards and the Knights after promotion, along with Invis 2. So one good clearing spell and an evasion spell for our knight tonight. Very helpful stuff for this seed.
I will point out that Invis 2, I think, was clutch, because I don't know if you guys picked up on it in the millisecond before my ninja exploded on Tia 2. I believe that Tia 2 had Stone Touch.
Wow, I did miss that. I just thought that Tia 2 hit your ninja for so much that it literally exploded.
I mean, he did, but in the
but it also said
thing
stone,
right before
but it
boom.
didn't matter because he was dead.
But Invis 2 let me put up all the evasion so that wouldn't be a problem within 2 turns.
Yes,
Because
that
between
could
2 and
have
Invis 2
been
casters with a white
extremely
shirt.
brutal.
Yeah.
MeleeWizard finding the ribbon in the free chest on his way to Kraken. That's a big find. And Captain Nerd appears to have finished his eye grind. Looks like he's headed out of the ice cave with that loot in hand.
Now, just to note, ArsonHorse has quit out of the SRL chat, and I haven't seen him come onto the channel already, so I'm not certain if he's going to come for an interview or not after that race. But GG's to him one way or the other. That was a great run, and he did fantastically, all things considered.
Yeah, definitely another great race during our week 4 of our Randomizer Swiss flags for our spring tournament. Like to remind everybody, we do currently have 2 other races going on. We have Mama Duck herself, Moist Mogwai, going up against the king of the black belts himself in Gregley Puff. And we also have, just beginning about 15 minutes ago, we have a Battle of the Undefeateds, the heavyweight championship of the world. It is Edgeworth and Minochi 85 on Speed Gaming Prime.
Following that up later tonight at 2 a.m., we're going to have Wilkliosis headlining the commentary booth as Czar takes on Lord of the Synth on SG Prime for our late night madness marathon here. That is going to be like three back-to-back awesome matches. Keep up with Speed Gaming, keep up with us, and get all of the FFR you could ever want tonight. Does look like we have ArsonHorse here. ArsonHorse, GG.
Hello, thank you.
GG, dude.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Pretty interesting for the first part of it.
Yeah,
So what are your takeaways from this?
I need to learn what things are immune to death and Brack better. But yeah, a lot of pretty nasty stuff in Marsh and Ice. And Waterfall, nonetheless, those nightmares were required and kind of tough early. So...
yeah, you made the play in there just behind FizzleBeef, but FizzleBeef got deep enough to find out that the floater was there and then just had to redive to get it out. You, it looked like, got in there once, found out what the nightmares were, and decided that you needed to come back later with better clearing spells. So that was your big early game difference. And in the later game, Arson, you had access to sea and access to earth. What was the thought process and which one you dove first?
I'm closer to Earth on the map at the time, and maybe I'll get lucky, and the crown will be there. If it's
Yep.
not.
Yep. You made the Earth play first based on where you were. Fizzle made the sea play first, and it paid off. Those were the two big differences in this seed, and pretty much your difference in the overall time at the end.
Yeah, 6 minutes is pretty close. I can't be too disappointed about that.
No, it was a great showing all around. I will note that while you guys ran across a few different enemies that were nasty, I'm not certain either of you saw the thing that gave Captain Nerd fits for a good portion of it. Trance Sea Hags with Blizzard.
Oh, I didn't fight them long enough to see the blizzard, but I saw plenty of trance out of them.
Yeah, they had it backed up by Blizzard, and Captain Nerd was just getting torn apart. While we have MeleeWizard finding out that Kraken has thunder, and that hurt a little bit.
He brought the noise and the thunder. I heard that snicker. It's putting up a good showing right now, working against Kraken, getting through this one. Most
Kraken
of these
was
bosses,
resistant
honestly,
Brack
it seemed
today.
like... Brack didn't want to hit, but it didn't seem like most of the bosses were really all that tough this time around, either in the first or second tiers.
Carry 2 slowed me down. I made a Quadex gamble, figuring I was close enough over base hit points that it was going to be fine, and really all I ended up doing was just kind of wasting 2 characters' turns for a round, and then I got punished with nuclear.
Yeah, it did seem like she had probably north of 750 health when you struck at her that time, and the Quadex just didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So MeleeWizard has his crown, he's taking it over to Astos, going to get himself his chime. This should put him in effectively go mode at this point. So that'll just initiate him to be able to continue onward with his journey and finish out this round of the game. So guys, since we have you both here, any final thoughts on what you worked through? Your match against each other, things you're looking forward to moving on in this tournament?
I need to look up how to kill nightmares with magic when I don't have any damage.
Yeah,
ArsonHorse?
they were pretty surprisingly nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you had to kill them early if you wanted to get that floater. Just a great game. Thanks to everyone for commentating and watching. It was a lot of fun.
You are very welcome. It's always a delight to hang out with you guys and see some great FFR action. Looks like at this point, Melee has decided he needs himself a good lunch. He's getting his steak and wings platter going, taking out that Tyro. Wyvern goes down. Just trying for a second round, gonna get him his experience as he heads onward towards, I'm assuming, Sky Palace to quickly finish out this game.
Yep, looks like MeleeWizard has his go mode and is preparing to finish up the seed.
He knows what he's doing, he knows where he has to go, he just has to finish this out. And as we can tell, even though he doesn't know, he's on a great pace right now to get ahead of Captain Nerd, because unfortunately, Captain Nerd just basically got stymied for about a half an hour there because of those stay hags. So now he's in Sky Palace, he's going through, he's cruising up. It doesn't even look like he's bothering to stop for treasures at this point. And Sky Palace is a whole lot better to get through when you don't actually have to bother doing any of the treasures. It's got a great chest density, but if you don't have to just search through it, you can breeze through this dungeon, as we just saw with Fizzle and ArsonHorse, in no time. Does, however, decide to take this 5 vampire pack, because this is a healthy amount of experience. Vampires are very tasty. I might even say that they're actually tastier than the steak and wings platter we saw outside. They hit hard, but they're worth so much experience.
Certainly
Hopefully
easier to cut through this seed.
Yeah. And there we go. Mage Staff is handy against the vampires. Blue D surprises out with a zap. Doesn't manage to take any of the party members out. And then a glance. Wow, the Blue D was sitting on a lot of skills right there. Not really doing a whole lot of damage against it right now. I'm not certain if taking out these guys out right now. Well, he got it, but that might have been a round that you see one round and skip it. But he's apparently going to do a bit of his grinding right here. His black belt may not have enough levels on him yet that he feels comfortable with the Topher grind. And I guess with them being just squishy enough, I could see this move. I would just worry that the Blue D would take out one of my necessary characters with a zap or a glance, because it seems like he's skill and spell heavy here. Meanwhile, as he's doing this grind here, we see that Captain Nerd is over at Earth Cave, continuing onwards with his dive here. Presumably searching for that crown so he can get himself into go mode and move on with his quest. Oh, I hate navigating Earth Cave. I feel for you, Captain Nerd. This map sucks. And it looks like
Earth Cave was one of those brutal.
Huh?
Earth Cave is one of those that's just brutal to navigate, especially for an early player, because it has so many of those small rooms pieced together in a very jagged fashion that makes it very difficult to navigate, especially for somebody unfamiliar with the game.
Yeah, it has maps that I like when I played Diablo 3, it's a similar kind of map. A lot of nooks and crannies that don't seem to go anywhere and make no sense within the layout of a dungeon. Like, who puts all these random paths to nowhere over here? What the heck is this?
Well, Lich needed a mausoleum, so he just built a bunch of little nooks and crannies to hide all the corpses in.
He's actually Lich 15, the other 14 of them are buried throughout the dungeon. But yeah, MeleeWizard is just on a tear at this point. He's in go, he's cruising.
Yep, making very good use of his items to save himself spell charges too. That is a very key thing to learn in the randomizer, because especially at the low to intermediate levels, saving the spell charges can be a huge deal to make your dives easier for dungeons.
Well, and with how much digging they had to do in this race, they have a plethora of the casting items at this point, so full complement of basically all the level 2 spells that they can cast as much as they want. May as well use them since they have them.
Absolutely. And Captain Nerd making the play to full clear Earth, as we know from ArsonHorse, that is not going to pay off very well here for him, but it's the play he's gone with, and we'll have to make sure he gets the orb lit. Alright, and ArsonHorse and FizzleBeef are headed on to their next endeavors. We'll have to see them next week on another episode of your Final Fantasy Randomizer.
MeleeWizard is playing strong. He's on the Bridge of Destiny, hoping for that Warmech, but so far this race, Warmech has been quite elusive. We've got 2 more chances at it here, and then with Captain Nerd, so we'll see if we manage to get ourselves a Warmech before this whole race is over with.
Alright, we've got a Bridge of Destiny pull. Let's see what our slot machine gives us here today. We start with nachos, move on to some air or some gas from eating the nachos, apparently.
Well, I mean, one leads to the other, obviously.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
And now,
he is taking some of the fights that are worthwhile, but it doesn't look like he's worried too much about his levels at this point. He did a little Blue D grind earlier, and now I think he's quite comfortable with where his black mages or black belt
all right,
is at.
we're on to our next required nacho platter here.
They're delicious. Why wouldn't you? I'm building some nachos right now myself.
They're delicious. I just don't want to be forced to eat them, which in this case our runners are being forced.
I don't know. I think that those nachos could be a nice follow-up to the crab cakes we had earlier. It sounds like a fantastic meal.
As long as it's well-rounded, I guess we can live with that. Just don't forget to eat your peas, Dark Moon.
Oh, I always do. I love my vegetables. But would that be... Would we be talking, like, seafood nachos at this point? Like a little bit of lobster or something crumbled up on, like, a light cheese sauce?
Well, they did have those steak and wings earlier, so maybe it's a platter of chicken nachos.
That could be tasty. Get a rounded meal, a little bit of surf and turf, some steak and wings. I like this plan.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Randomizer, your source of your full buffet for the afternoon and evening.
Well, now I'm hungry. I need myself a midnight snack here.
Well, just so long as you brought enough for everybody, we do have Mama Duck and Greggly Puff still going on, Edgeworth and Minochi still going on over on Speed Gaming Prime, and later we have Zardia and Lord of the Synth to finish out our late night of Final Fantasy Randomizer action tonight. Alright, wow, we've moved on to Bane Strats from MeleeWizard, while Tiamat decides that one of his heads is going to drop a little ice on our party with a blizzard cast. Alright, Captain Nerd hunting for that rod. There we go, and off he goes deeper into the Earth Cave. Looks like a full clear of floor 4, while MeleeWizard completes the Sky Tower.
Nicely done there. There's just one more dungeon for them to go, and it's Earth Cave on Go mode. I don't think they're going to have any problem with this one at all.
Yeah, I definitely don't foresee a problem for MeleeWizard in that Earth Cave with a party of level 23s and 24s, it looks like. That black belt took a beating and falls! Oh, and Melee resets. That black belt wasn't going to get the experience, so MeleeWizard just held off.
Yeah, I can't blame that. The black belt's really the only one you care about at this point. The more EXP you can dump into it, the better they're going to be.
Yeah, I am really surprised we have not seen either a duo grind with one red mage or a solo grind yet for MeleeWizard.
Just checking in over at Speed Gaming 4 with the match between Moist Mogwai and Greggly Puff for those that don't want to have both channels open at once. It does look as though Greggly might be in full go mode at this point. But Moist Mogwai, while still collecting items, already has one crystal on the board. So it looks like after about an hour between the two of them, it's still fairly close. I would say basically even right now.
The question that's on everybody's mind, Dark Moon, is the master of the black belt running a black belt?
And the answer to that will happen in just a second. It does not look like he is. I'm seeing a knight in his lead position. I won't be able to fully answer that until I see them in battle, but we may be looking at a knight party here from the Master of the Black Belt.
Oh my, the Master of the Black Belt with no black belt. Someone quick get out a search party for the real Greggly Puff.
You think it's a ringer? He just hired an intern to play for him?
Alright, MeleeWizard really flying through the first portion of the Earth Cave, while Captain Nerd appears to have finished his full clear and is headed for Lich.
Yeah, this is the problem with Earth Cave, and this is why you want to do it as late as you can. Even on a fast full clear, Earth just takes forever. Yeah. Like, I mean, a fast dive on it where you don't have to full clear, it just takes forever. When you actually have to go through and grab all the chests as well, it's even worse.
Yeah, the chests are just so spread out, it leads to so many additional steps being taken, because unlike most dungeons where there's 4, 5, 6 in a location, Earth has one chest alone in so many places that it just takes forever.
And yeah, can confirm, Greggly Puff is running a fighter pack this time. Fighter, Thief, Red Mage, Black Mage.
Oh my, the Master of the Black Belt without a black belt. It's so depressing. Yeah, it's terrible.
The travesty of it.
Alright, Captain Nerd has pulled Lich and is Brackstratting Lich. We have Brackstrats coming out on Lich, so we are going full meme mode this evening, while the ninja gets a fast cast.
But I don't think it has anywhere near the capability of Quake or Zap at this point.
Yeah,
they're not as
I think Captain Nerd has seen too many seeds with people bracking Kraken and Tiamat that we may have a misconception here. The good one to take against Lich is definitely Quake.
Yeah,
the Quake strats for Lich. The Brack strats are Tiamat and Kraken specific. Those two happen to be weak against the poison stone elements.
They are. Which was part of what makes Bane so good against Tiamat. If you want to do status and kill effects against Carrie, you basically need to rely on Confusion, because that's the one that she's really weak against.
Yes, the old wizard staff against Carrie, the highly effective strategy for that particular fiend. Alright, looks like Captain Nerd heading into ordeals, so he is going to find that key.
He is well on his way to getting into his go mode. Unfortunately, I don't think he has, like, as the tracker is lit, I don't think he has any of the orbs done at this point, so even after he gets into go mode, he's still looking at like 30-40 minutes before he's going to be able to get into Chaos Shrine.
Well, we do know that he just lit the Earth Orb. I just don't believe that the tracking has caught up to that particular orb yet.
Perfect. I was bounced between two windows at that point. Thank you for correcting me on that.
But Melee is headed right into the Lich floor and on his way to light his fourth orb and be prepared to enter the Temple of Fiends Revisited and travel 2,000 years into the past.
Spoiler! We don't know that yet, even though we just watched it, like, you know, half an hour ago above.
Yes, we are about to see the speed bump. Hang on, I blinked. Did I miss it? No! It took just a second. That black belt did not swing hard enough to kill Lich, but the Red Wizard throws a Fire 3 and nukes Lich into the ground.
Easily taken care of.
Captain Nerd beginning his mapping of the pillars. Alright.
Now, speaking of breakpoints, his black belt, who should already be above level 21, has hit his first breakpoint for his fists. The next one that's going to happen for the black belt at this point isn't going to come until 32. I don't think MeleeWizard has the time to spend grinding up to that.
Yeah, based on the way this run has gone, it does not look like MeleeWizard planned to grind the black belt to any significant level here. So I would guess we're just going to watch a straight dive into the Temple of Fiends Revisited 2,000 years into the past. There is the possibility that he takes the left turn at Albuquerque and goes to the earth floor to do a short grind if he's confident of his spell list, but we'll just have to see what he decides to do here.
Yeah, as chat points out, Melee does have the time to grind to level 32, but there's no way he could know that.
Alright, here's the moment of truth. Is he going left to grind or right? Nope, he goes right. He's headed straight up through the Temple of Fiends Revisited. He's in go mode and he's treating it as such.
And as we know, it's the right play to make at this point, because this Temple of Fiends basically is full of paper.
Yeah, this Temple of Fiends, other than that one early-ish nuclear on Carrie, did not appear terribly dangerous as far as the skill and spell lists were concerned.
And if he just enlists damage after damage, he probably won't even see the nuclear carry.
Shadow Walker pointing out, this lower level black belt will not hit extremely hard, so this could be detrimental, but we'll have to see how it works out.
Is he only 21? I know Adam's level 24 at this point, but I wasn't certain if the black belt was that low.
Yeah, the black belt, I think, was dead for a couple of fights, so he may only be 21 or 22 on the black belt. He may be missing a level.
Well, if he keeps getting unrunnables like this, he's not going to have a problem getting those experience levels he needs.
Definitely not, and that black belt is hitting fairly hard. There were 4 hits for 340, so even if he's not all the way up to 32, he's doing a decent job, at least with what he's fighting so far in the trash mobs of Temple of Fiends Revisited. We do have... Okay, we have Captain Nerd. He's hit the Nightmare Trap tile at the top of Ordeals. It looks like he is going to make it through without too much more difficulty here, but the Nightmares are giving him a heck of a fight at this point.
Well, as we know, those unrunnable nightmares can be pretty nasty. They seem to have just enough MDef that the insta-kills aren't working against them.
Yeah, the instant kills aren't working, and they had enough HP that Quad X was not working, so they are just really rough. Talfon asking in chat about the breakpoints. For a black belt, the breakpoints are level 21, level 32, and level 42. So your big breakpoint is normally for a 200 to 250-ish% type flag set. Usually the 32 is the big one that everybody aims for. If you have weaker flags, a lot of times the 21 breakpoint is enough. And if you have some really nasty flags, like 350, 400%, a lot of people will take that black belt on up to the 42 breakpoint.
And it looks like for the most part, he's kind of okay with where he's at level-wise, because he's taken some of the easier fights, but he's running from most of these.
And we have the ever-present Medusas on the Earth floor, but thankfully they do not appear to have rolled Stone or Death Touch today, so he gets through them pretty easily.
They aren't quite the Medusas of Death we saw earlier in the Wilkiosis versus Tristle battle. That was wretched.
Yes,
now, surprisingly, he didn't heal up his black belt all the way. I can fully understand not thinking that Lich is going to do that much damage to you, but when you're in the mid-20s or the mid-200s, you definitely don't want to have a black belt that you need to do your damage get wiped out by a nuke or a nuclear.
Yeah, and Lich is standing up, but no, one mage staff whacked to the side of his head and his bones crumple into dust.
I hope he has a ribbon or a pro ring on that black belt, because, like, insta-death spells are going to be a concern with him at the level he's at.
Yeah, Melee is definitely taking some risks here. He's leaving his party members very low HP here. I'm not sure I love this.
Yeah, it's risky. Talfon, I don't think Lich is ever really worth respect, but just because he's not worth respect doesn't mean I want to give him a chance to actually force me to respect him.
Yeah, that second or third turn nuke from Lich because you were goofing around does not feel good.
No, that's like, oh, well, I have to reset this now. That was my fault.
Okay,
I've done that.
Captain Nerd with the key appears like he's going to do the full set of key lock checks here. He's going to start in Temple of Fiends and apparently go through all 25 key lock chests here on the Intercontinent.
Finally giving some time to heal up his black belt at least a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, his heal pots are in the right position to make healing up quick. He may just be trying to conserve in case he hits a death touch or something and doesn't want to burn through too many of his heal pots.
Yeah, but he had a full 99. I don't see the risk. I don't see the point here in leaving your characters suboptimal on the HP. There's just too much danger of getting unlucky, especially with a black belt double red mage party. Yeah. The run chance is not phenomenal with this particular party composition because the thief is still checking for Quake, shall we say.
That is fairly true. Captain Nerd at this point looks like he's going and doing his key lock chest dives. Going to try and find the last little bits and pieces of what he needs. I think he's still on that search for that chime so that he can finish out his round.
Yes, he is still hunting that crown that we know is in the mermaid. So we're going to be doing key lock chests and then be going elsewhere to hunt some more stuff down. Because as we know, it's not going to lead us to where we want to go today.
No, and unfortunately he did a full clear of Earth as his big move. Hopefully he makes it over to sea before too long, because that's really what he needs to get into go mode and finish out this run.
This is dangerous. Both red wizards up front and that black belt behind, and one shot takes out one of the red wizards. We may not have a life spell remaining here in a moment.
That is seriously risky. Well, there's that nuclear that we were worried about, but his black belt came out swinging for what, like 900 damage first round and another 900 second?
Yeah, the black belt got some phenomenal crit rate right there. That was very fortuitous.
And when you have a bunch of life 2 charges, I guess you just don't care that much.
Yeah, but that spell is at level 5. He doesn't have an endless supply of charges there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If Kraken Honda becomes, Kraken Honda, or these Wiz-Sahags pull out what we know they have, this could be a problem.
Yeah,
we know there's some instant death here.
Shadow Walker reminds us Pete and Adam have ribbons on them, but ribbons don't defend you against everything. So it's still dicey, even at this point, whether or not you're going to be able to keep everyone alive through every floor.
Yeah, there is always that 3 and 256 risk, even if you've got a ribbon on. So the ribbons are not the end-all be-all here. There is still some major risk there. Getting that white shirt ready on these red wizards, going to attempt to keep the evade up and save himself from cracking Honda. We'll have to see how that works.
Putting the expendable test dummies up front against that Kraken to whack them down one at a time.
There's the power bonk. The fast. Do we get the turn order? No, we do not. Kraken Honda swings, and that first red wizard takes a smack to the face for 255 damage.
But it still doesn't kill him, which that kind of says something about the Kraken we're up against. The second one does, though.
Yeah, we tried to disrespect Kraken a bit there, and it's going to blow up in our face. We have one red wizard down, and the other one in some peril here.
Now, note,
but we do get the white shirt off.
Because the black belt is doing 12 hits, but he's still only done about 1,000 hits, 1,000 damage total over 2 rounds. That's a pretty hefty amount of absorb for the Kraken, considering how much damage was slung his way.
Alright, still got 2 charges of life 2 left on Adam there, so one of the red wizards is beginning to run short on life 2, but we already are past Kraken, so barring something unforeseen, we should be okay to keep our party members alive for the remainder of the seed here.
Yeah, Melee doesn't know that the next 2 bosses really aren't going to be that scary, but he at this point, I gotta think he doesn't have that much to concern himself with. He got past...
Keep in mind, though, we did hear that FizzleBeef was of the opinion that Tiamat may have had Stone Touch here.
This is true.
So we will have to watch that. If Tiamat truly has Stone Touch here, this could be a game-changing thing to happen here, because Melee is not going to get the Invis charges up nearly as fast as FizzleBeef was capable of.
This is true. He had 3 people cranking out those charges originally, and right now it looks like he only has 2 doing it this time. But he's queuing up, he got his fast charge off, he's putting out a white shirt, he's putting out his bonk.
Alright, let's see if we can confirm the Stone Touch here.
There's a Blizzard.
Ooh, Blizzard right off the bat. We know that was backed up by a swirl, so Tiamat may be coming out with that non-elemental swirl right off the bat here. We'll have to see what goes on. There's a white shirt charge, and the black belt swings for 765 damage. Tiamat did not roll much absorb at all, it doesn't appear.
No, he should be able to get through it on the next turn, although he does throw out a fancy little Bane just to see if it takes the cake. Now, Tiamat 2 doesn't have the weaknesses that Tiamat 1 does, so just like Bane is not likely to hit if you don't throw an extra or something else down.
And there is Stone Touch!
Stone Touch!
Fizzle had it called. We have a Stone Touch Tia 2. Whew.
Yeah, he saw it, and it didn't really play into the last one because his ninja was just completely obliterated, but there is Stone Touch on that Tiamat. Be warned.
Yeah, that could have been very detrimental to our runners earlier, but that's one time where our runners are thanking their lucky stars that Tiamat used Blizzard and Swirl, because the attack would have been significantly worse.
But it's also something to think about is Stone Touch is honestly a lot easier to recover from as long as you make it through the fight than life. Your black belt can soft potion a red mage. If the other red mage is wiped out though, like, you're not doing, like, they can't cast life, but they can do stone potions.
Absolutely. Still not an enjoyable thing to find if it had gone off early in that fight.
His thief is resurrected and up front, 53 health. I don't think this thief is long for this world. He's getting his buffs out though.
Wow, I do not foresee. Ooh, looks like he did not go back for any of the magic at level 2 or level 4. So no vanilla life spell and no Invis 2. That is going to be a rough fight for Melee here without any of those abilities to speed up his evasion charges and get himself prepared.
You know, I thought the Thief wasn't going to make it past the first round, but then the Thief dodged. So, go Thief.
Oh my, we're having Bane strats. Do we get to see the broken into pieces?
348
Come
damage
on,
to the Black
Thief!
Belt first time around.
Bane sword! Bane sword! Bane's... Oh!
I think he's just going to cast Bane. He had to use the heal helm from the Thief to get health back up because he's worried about Chaos coming out swinging.
Yep, that white shirt is his only way of getting invis stacks up, so he's got to fire that off to keep that black belt alive, because that is his source of chaos kill. Without that black belt, he is in some serious trouble.
Thief can't, or Chaos can't hit that Thief though. Thief is just way too fast. He's ducking and he's dodging. He's done the dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge from Dodgeball right there. He's watched his movies.
Well, Chaos does throw a wrench into many plans, but I don't think he's going to this time.
If you can dodge a Chaos, you can dodge a ball. Yeah, unfortunately, there we go. Now the black belt is finally starting to kick out with some damage. Banes aren't working, but we do love him trying.
Yes, we are definitely seeing a large amount of the Bane strats here tonight. Matter of fact, we've seen about 8 casts of it so far.
Not that's gonna matter, that black belt does the job. And with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 32 seconds, MeleeWizard has come first place in his race against Captain Nerd.
Yes, we have a completion by MeleeWizard. Let's get our GGs in chat. We have a winner.
Absolutely GG, Melee. And here he is, MeleeWizard, GG. How do you think that race went?
Helps if I actually turn my mic on. The early game always seems to be a sticking point with me, but once I got... It felt like every dive I made, while it didn't give me progression necessarily, it gave me good equipment. Especially when I was seeing, I think it was that fade, was that level 1 fade that I couldn't learn?
Yeah, it was locked behind your promotion, and with a black belt, you really didn't want to promote.
I contemplated it at a certain point, but especially with getting the tail so early, but...
Yeah, when you had the opal bracelet ribbon combo, I was surprised you didn't just go ahead and promote, because with that combination on, the black belt's actually better off with the armor and not the bare body strat.
Yeah, and in this tournament, I had been burned by my Marsh dives so often. Like, 2 out of 3 weeks, it was Marsh led to a pointless ship. This time, it led to black shirt and a ribbon, so I'm cool with that.
Yep. Now, what led you to, with the prevalence of fighter compositions, why the black belt, Melee?
I felt like it.
Well, strangely enough, both you and your opponent went fighterless. You went with a black belt, and Captain Nerd is running Thief Double Red Black. So we saw all of the compositions tonight.
Yeah, that's not bad. At least with the black, you would have had ready access to nuke at 6. I did see that, and I saw that was promotion block too for me.
Yeah, you had lots of things that promotion would have really helped unlock in your red wizards there.
Yeah, but when I had the holy trio of caster items, the Zeus Gauntlet, Black Shirt, and Mage Staff, I was largely good. And
Yep.
the one question, how the heck did my thief survive the chaos fight?
I could not
amazing.
believe your thief. I don't know. Did that thief take some ballet classes? Because he was dancing around all the chaos swings like a professional ballet dancer.
Especially, I think the first swing came with only one white shirt shot to it. So I was amazed by that.
Yeah, that was an impressive dodge by your thief there. He must have really been He must have been reading a book down there that we weren't aware of, How to Dodge Chaos.
He's just
It worked.
He's just dodging the agents left and right.
I was thinking that my first Topher was largely kind of a testing the waters just to see just how nasty it was, and if it turned out things were kind of really, really bad, that I definitely would have promoted and gotten Fate and probably Nuke as well for a second attempt.
Yeah, most of our runners found their big roadblock was the nightmares that were unrunnable in both Castle Ordeals and the Waterfall. So that was where most of our runners found that.
Thank you, Black Shirt.
Yes, that makes a huge difference there.
Yeah, my biggest roadblock was the wizards in ice. Good lord, with glance and who knows.
They were all over that ice cave encounter table. I think that's about the most wizards I've ever seen in an ice cave.
And I believe, isn't that where I found the Zeus Gauntlet too? That was huge, and just the last fight against those wizards, the last Fire 3. Oh man, how clutch was that?
It got you out. Well, GG's Melee. Any final thoughts from you as we finish up this evening's stream here on Speed Gaming?
Well, I had all these plans set up for doing something silly for an 0-4 matchup, but now that my next week's match will actually matter, I guess I can't do that now.
Looking to get into that last chance qualifier that we will have the following weekend. Well, GG's Melee, congratulations on your first victory of this Swiss Seed. Dark, any final thoughts from you this evening?
I just want to say thank you to everyone that was in the chat participating with this great race. Of course, thanks to our various runners, LordFizzlebeef, ArsonHorse, MeleeWizard naturally, and Captain Nerd. You guys are all doing great. GG's all around for all of you. Want to thank our trackers, Danny and Shadow Walker, for helping us out with this race. Hyro, who's our restreamer tonight?
I believe we were being done by Speed Gaming, and I believe our setup man today helping us get all of our wonderful stuff in was Mind of Me this evening. So we'd like to thank him for helping us get our setup done for Speed Gaming 2 tonight. I'd like to thank our trackers, Danny and Shadow Walker, all of our runners, Fizzlebeef, Arson, Melee, and Captain Nerd for putting on a wonderful show for our fans. I'd like to remind everybody we have races going on well into the night here this Friday night on the Speed Gaming family of networks. So if you'd want to go hit one of those races up, we'll keep you entertained well into the night.
It does look like right now the Moist Mogwai versus Gregley Pup is a barn burner, with Gregley right about at go mode right now. So I think we're going to try and get everyone switched over to that at this point, do a nice big raid for them, and continue the FFR action all through the night. Special thanks to my co-host, Hyro, and unless you have anything else, I think we're good to go.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll get you jumped on over to those real good matches on our other channels here, and enjoy the rest of your random evening.